Mike, this is Jesse. When you were going over my sketches last week, there were some that didn't get uploaded,
Oh, I
or
have
like
them.
you got them.
Yeah, I'll look at them actually right now.
Okay, thanks.
If anybody's in my other class, my digital drawing class or my cartooning class, the reason the video is not up yet is today. I don't know what happened, but I sent those things to upload when I went up to the tower, and they didn't upload, so I'm gonna have to re-upload them tonight. And I don't want to do it while we're doing this because it's just gonna bog my computer down if I do it. But they'll be up probably tonight.
Okay.
So you guys are having problems with the Zoom link?
Yeah, the one last night didn't work, so we went to the previous one.
Oh, I just had to use the meeting ID instead.
Yeah. I don't know what happens every now and then that happens, and I have no idea what it is because I do it the same way every time. So it's a Zoom thing. I don't know how to change it. That's why I always leave the meeting ID number in there so you can just punch that in, right?
Yeah, it was showing that it was like a link call or something, like Skype or something on like in the code. It was kind of odd.
Yeah, it's done that before, and I don't know what it is because what I'm doing is when you set up a meeting in Zoom, then you can copy the meeting information. Then I just cut and paste that into my my announcement, and then I just remove all that excess crap because there's a lot of stuff in there. And I just leave the meeting ID and then the link, and that's all I do. So I'm not exactly sure why it does that. Yeah, so here's another person. I just got an email from somebody else. Hang on. So they should be here. Okay. I don't know what's going on with my thing here. It's just everything keeps disappearing on me, and it's weird. I just looked at you guys' stuff right before the meeting, and now it's not here. Hang on. Here it is. Okay. So let's look at. Hey, Jesse, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Where are you at? Oh, there you are. Okay, so let's go.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, let's go here. What's happening here? You there?
Which one? Yeah. This one with the little kid and like the two adults.
Yeah.
So this one I was doing kind of like maybe like the little kid is at home and the parents have like a note that says show and tell. So he's like pointing towards the alligator like, oh, like look what I could bring.
I think it's too complicated, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now she's running out to him wherever he lives, and she's going to bring him in, right?
Yeah.
And then this one, I think you did a variation on this, or I saw this one, which kind of rides in on him. Yeah?
Sorry, it kind of broke up. What was that?
This one, she's just riding in, sort of making an entrance, correct?
Yeah.
That's kind of after the fact, this one, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
She would have announced this before they ever got there, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Is there a lag when I talk to you guys? Because every time I wait for a response, there's a lag time. See?
I don't know. Maybe it's just my device is laggy today.
Oh.
Definitely.
Yeah, it seems to
Like
be kind
sometimes
of.
you lag and other times it's fine.
Huh.
But like by the time you're done lagging, then it's fine. It's weird.
By the time you're done, what?
Like by the time it stops lagging, it's like fine. It's like this cycle of like you're lagging and then like we get like the sentence like maybe like a second or like a little bit after you said it.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird.
It's
I'm having some kind of weird issues today anyway, though.
right.
Because like I said, I tried to upload those videos and it wouldn't go, and then I had to restart everything again, which really irritates me because it's like, can you guys get this together? You know what I mean? It's like everybody's online right now, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Jesse.
Yeah, it's definitely laggy because Taylor, yours is like right away. Like there's not a lag when your computer's talking.
Oh.
Oh, so Taylor's all fancy then. So we all resent Taylor now. Yeah?
I'm the one with the Wi-Fi.
Are you with me?
Everybody give her a glare.
Let's all band together in our common.
Wait, can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So like, I couldn't get to the video on Zoom. No, wait, hold on a second. I did not word this correctly. I couldn't get on here through Gmail, so I ended up putting the code in on the app.
Yeah, everybody's having that problem today.
Yeah, it was the same for all of us.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why, just so you guys know in the future, I always try and keep these in the same room. Zoom always tries to get you to just do a random number. And once in a while I forget, usually I don't. But if so it's usually always in this room. But or should always be in this room. But I always leave that meeting ID number down there because you can just cut and paste that into the whatever, the Zoom thing or whatever. And it'll take you to the same room. But I don't know what happens with that link every now and then. Something's funky with that link sometimes. Okay? Okay, so Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever find that video of Liberace?
I didn't find the video. I didn't look it up, but somebody had sent
it's really
a
about
picture.
It's really about the performance.
Okay.
Like it's really over the top. It's just the way he's walking in that just reminds me of that. There might be some, and I haven't seen that video in 100 years, but there might be something kind of just from a performance or a pose standpoint, there might be something fun in it. Right?
Okay.
Because it's so over the top.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is like so over the top. Because I'm looking at this one again. Right?
It's not showing on my screen if you clicked on one.
What are you seeing?
It's just like you're on like the menu of like all the turn-in drawings.
Oh, wow.
There it is.
Can you see it?
Okay.
You can see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see.
Wow.
Now we can see.
Yeah, I'm lagging. I don't know what's going on. I got a new router and everything. I don't know what's going on. And it's been working really good. All right. So anyway, I was looking at this one. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Is that the one that you think I should go for? Or?
I think that's probably that one. Which other one? Oh, this one I thought had potential. I'd probably maybe work on this one a little more. And where's it at? Maybe that one.
And Liberace one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Liberace one. I think those two. I think those two are your contenders.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Now, try some different.
Thank you.
What's that? I think I lost you there. Oh well.
Oh no. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I missed all of that. You said I think you should.
I think you should work
that's what
work
you're
on those and try different compositional things, try different staging, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, totally.
And you can still keep that super rough, super loose, and then we can start to refine. Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm always more concerned with right now getting the ideas down, the composition down, and all that stuff, and then we'll spend the time refining, okay?
Sounds good.
Because then we can jump in and get a little more specific on the character modeling and the design of the characters and all that kind of stuff, okay?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Troy, we didn't go through yours, right? Is Troy here? No, I don't
No,
think we didn't, right?
no.
You can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Let me open these right. I didn't open them right. So let's go to 1. Oops. So here he's got it in his desk, correct?
Yeah, so he's just hiding it in his desk.
I kind of like that. I like the staging of it, actually. Here he's, what's the teacher do? Oh, he's on his chair or whatever, right?
Yeah, so the teacher's just kind of hiding behind the chair, and he's trying to pull the alligator back from on top of another.
So he's a little out of control, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. This one, he's scaring somebody. I kind of like that. What's he doing here? He's just riding it?
Yeah, so he's just kind of riding the alligator through the hallway, and all the other kids are kind of backed up against the lockers in the hallway.
Scaring the teacher, right? Yeah?
Yeah, and the rest of the class is kind of like screwing. Yeah, and the rest of the class is kind of screwing around in the background.
I think, again, if you have this, like in this kind of scene, I think he has to be trying to do something nice, but he's being interpreted as being, he's scary as an alligator, right?
Okay.
Otherwise, it feels a little too predatory. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So kind of like what we talked about the other one where, he might be coming up to give her an apple. He might be coming up to give her a gift or whatever, something for the teacher. And, she's terrified of him or whatever because she's misinterpreting it. Okay. Because anybody would misinterpret that. This is on the bus.
Yeah, so this one is just him and the kid are in the front of the bus, and everybody else is kind of huddled in the back.
Oh, I like that idea. I haven't thought of that. I think it would have to get way more dramatic. I think you got to play that size relationship, right? Because right now he's the same size, then obviously all the chairs are the same size. He needs to be this, maybe even like too big, and his head's, turned because the roof's here or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then maybe here, and I'm stealing this from whoever did I think it was Jesse. A kid could be here with their hands here. They're sort of hiding behind some of the chairs too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And then you can put their hands there, like. But again, I think, he could be way up here. And look a little bummed. I think he should look a little bummed because he wants them to like him. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, however that works. Oh, she jumped up in this class skeleton's arms?
Yeah, it's one of those like display skeletons, and she kind of jumps up, and it's sort of like not really holding her, but it kind of looks like.
Yeah, the thing I like about what you're doing is that you're doing stuff that I hadn't thought of and I haven't seen. What's happening here?
So this one kind of, there's like some bullies in the hallway and they're kind of going to pick on this other kid. And then the kid with the alligator kind of shows up. So I just have sort of the only part of the alligator you can actually see is for the tail. And then I was kind of thinking of just sort of the shadow of the mouth being kind of projected onto the locker.
It's an interesting idea, but I think it's getting away from the text. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But again, you got to try different things, okay? Because you might do something like that and then realize the shadow is a great idea and use it in a different scenario, okay? Let's see. What's he doing here?
I was just trying to not always have the alligator be the same size all the time. So
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of do something where it's like a smaller alligator. So this one is basically just kind of hanging out on the kid's head, and then, you know, teachers kind of has like a surprised look in the back, and the kids are just kind of watching.
What's he doing here?
This one's sort of kind of at lunch, so he's kind of stealing another kid's food, and they're all just kind of like watching him.
Running from him again, right there. Man, I haven't seen one of these things. They still have these things in schoolyards? Yeah?
I think I see them every once in a while, kind of like in older schools, but I think they've taken most of them out, yeah.
I've seen them at parks, but not schools.
Yeah, mostly parks, I think. Older ones.
Yeah.
Every place I've seen it, it's like it either takes like a year or two and then it's gone. Like
Or like they'll have like a net under it now.
yeah, they're like gradually spanning out to like just like absence.
Mm.
They put a net under him?
Mm-hmm.
They're really good drawing, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
That's so cool.
I agree. I think all of them are really well drawn. Don't you think? Yeah?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Really clear thumbnails. Like if you notice every time I'm going, okay, he's doing this. Oh, I get it. He's doing that. Like I get it. Like he doesn't really have to explain a whole lot of it. Okay. So I'm glad you brought that up. They're good. They're nice thumbnails. Okay, he's chased them all up there. Like there's something interesting about that it feels like he's in a cage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was there any thinking behind that?
Yeah, a little bit. I wanted to kind of look like that, but also have it, you know, tie into being sort of in a playing kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, there's something interesting there. It's just something interesting, that juxtaposition of it being in a cage, because normally in our lives, that's kind of how we see them. You know what I mean? There might be another level of this you could play with. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know why it's reminding me of that scene in Jurassic Park at the end, where that thing's in the building and he starts, you know, howling or whatever that sound it makes is, and that banner comes down and it says when dinosaurs ruled the earth or something. And there was just like a lot of messaging in that scene that was very deliberate. All that stuff, all that messaging was very deliberate. And there's something very messagey about him being in a cage in a cool way. Now, I don't know if there's something that you could do with it, or maybe it's just enough as is, maybe, you know? Because it kind of speaks to like the alligator getting loose in the zoo or something. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What's happening here? He's hatching?
Yeah. So he's just kind of hatching. I guess I was just kind of thinking of what if the kid just brought kind of an egg and they didn't really know what was in there. And then as it's kind of hatching and they're sort of realizing what it is.
Big, creepy, leathery egg. Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. Like Super Godzilla right there.
The face on the lunch lady's funny. It's cute.
That's
Looks like she's about to like swat at him.
There's something to that one. I think I might develop that one a little bit. And I like the just sort of, there's something about the weird posture of it that's funny. where he just looks
Yeah.
sort of casual, I guess. You know what I mean? And it looks a little,
Yeah.
a little bit human. I don't know. There's something funny about it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea because it's so simple. Go ahead.
If you do end up doing this drawing, Troy, I hope you keep him like this buff alligator. That'd be hilarious.
There's something really funny about that pose, or is it just me? There
I
is.
agree. Yeah, it's really funny.
Who's just talking?
Me.
Help that one up, Troy.
Okay.
Here's just getting a drink of water, right?
Yeah. So and all the other kids are just kind of waiting in line.
That one's kind of funny looking too. He's eating the class frog, right?
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking of, you know, in ET when they're doing like the they have all the frogs in the jars. So I was kind of thinking of when they have him in there and he's kind of grabbed the kid's jar and he's got it in his mouth.
I don't think I ever saw E.T. Getting into somebody's backpack, right?
Yeah, so he's just kind of rummaging through the backpack for food.
What's your major?
So I'm doing the entertainment arts certificate program, and I also want to do the illustration certificate as well.
Who do you like illustration with?
My favorite illustrator is actually Drew Struzan. But there's a lot of other ones, but I really like kind of the texture that he has on his work, and just I love the way that he composes everything. You know, he puts it all together.
Well, agreed. He's a master illustrator. But if you want to get a little bit into that technique, tell me, because you could do a project later on in this class in that technique if you want to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Now the way I would do it, Drew
Yeah.
Struzan used he would do a fully black and white underpainting drawing, and then he would mist that with an airbrush, and then he'd finish it out. And this is all on gesso, which is where you get in the texture. And then he would finish it out in Prismacolor pencils, right?
Yeah, I've seen a few videos, a little bit of his process.
The best way I would say if you want to play around, because it sounds like you're responding to the texture, is because I do this all the time. I have a technique for that, and I do it. You could do it on gesso. I don't airbrush it because I don't really want it to look like Struzan stuff. But I wash acrylics in it. I'm using the same materials, and then I finish it out in pencil. I'm just not using an airbrush. You can use an airbrush if you want. The only problem is when you start going down that path, he so owns that technique that everybody goes, "Oh, he's trying to rip off Drew Struzan." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's ways of doing that where if you want that texture, let's go through it. Now, and I don't want you guys to be afraid of doing anything traditional in here. And I don't want you to go, well, how's he going to show me how to do that online? We can do that. Okay, that's why I put the third camera in here. Okay? Or if I have to, I'll do a quick tutorial on it or whatever. But I want to make sure that you guys are, that's really interesting to me. So if you want to play around with something like that, let's talk about it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, good. So I don't want you guys to go, we have to do digital because we're online. We don't. We can, and I'm going to give you guys a lot of freedom in that, but you can try other things. And I think this is a really good place for you. If you go, I really like this kind of stuff, show it to me. And then we can kind of go, okay, I can tell you how to do that, right? If you want to try it, okay? That's important to me, by the way. I want you to explore in here, okay? I've probably said this, I want you to explore in here and everything, but I am going to give you room to fail, because if I'm asking you to explore, I have to give you room to fail. Does that make sense? Because I don't want you sitting around. I mean, it takes time to learn this stuff. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? Just work hard. That's all I ask. And Troy, what term are you?
I think this is my third fall.
Okay. You got some nice things going on in your drawing. Okay. Now he's chased up what has he chased up the coach up the line?
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking, you know how I never had this in my school, but how they do like kind of the rope climb thing.
Yeah.
He's kind of chased him up there.
I remember that somewhere. I don't remember where it was. I love this this drawing of the alligator, that foreshortening he did. And I love the face and everything on it. You know? I forgot the kids a little more, but not yet. Don't worry about that. Okay, so that's my 5, right?
Yeah, that's all of them.
I would say this is a contender, number 6. I don't think this is a bad idea, but I just think you probably have stronger ones. I think this could be a contender. Like maybe he's not even doing anything menacing in there. He's sitting there eating a bag of potato chips or something, but just because he's an alligator, he's scaring the hell out of everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Play with it. I don't know. That might not be right. This might be right. I don't know. Okay. But I would play with a couple ideas that there's something to this. Okay. So 12 is a contender. This one for sure is a contender. I think this one could be a contender. So is that that's the coach going up the rope, right?
Right. Yeah.
I think and I don't know, I wasn't like, I liked to skateboard and surf when I was a kid. I was not into like school sports at all. And the coaches always seemed like total douchebags to me. Like they always hated me because I wouldn't play those sports. And you might want to get them a little more coachy. Does that make sense?
With like the Friar Tuck receding hairline maybe or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of them. Like I remember we had this one guy, and he was a total douchebag. And he was pretty young. And he devised these games for us. Because I went to, first part of my high school, I went to a Catholic school. So they could get away with anything. And he had this game, I think he called it Kanaki or something. I can't remember what it was. And it was basically tackle the dummy. But he built in all these rules for like maximum carnage. And like twice, people got their legs broken. And he would just sit there and he just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Like, even when somebody got their leg broken, he thought it was funny. And he looked like that kind of guy. He's real smart-assy looking. He's real big. He looked like what you see now, the guys who drive those big lifted trucks and all that kind of stuff. He looked like that. I mean, this is in the 70s, okay? And then I had another football coach who looked like Ed Asner, or not football coach, math teacher, but he was like a football coach. And he looked like a football coach, real stocky. He looked like Ed Asner, bald. And if you pissed him off in his class, he'd hit you with a shoe. Like he'd go, come up here, and he'd hit you with a shoe. Like that kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, you see it in movies all the time. The coach is always an asshole. You know what I mean? Okay, so those are the ones I think are contenders. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sounds good.
That's a really good job, by the way. Like, good ideas. Nice drawings. What else do you want? Okay, we didn't go through these. Okay. I have not seen one thing yet with somebody doing a peace sign. That's good. Okay, is it Sarum? Is she here? I don't see her. Hang on. Let me look in the participants thing. Should be here because we got 22 people here. So Kim. Okay, I'm assuming they're not here. Okay. Let me screen cap. Actually, hang on. Oh, there it is. Day 2021. What is this? Anyway, I'll figure that out later. Okay. I'm going up from the bottom because hopefully won't hit the ones we already hit. Where's Priscilla?
I'm right here. Hi.
Okay, good. You got a lot of them, it looks like.
Yeah, there should be I believe I only did 4 pages, so
There's
I'm
7.
bad at math. There's 7, yeah.
You're not
The
where's
last the very last, they're not numbered, but the very last ones aren't exactly finished.
Well, finished is relative here. Now, again, if you're going to give these to an art director, which right now is me, you want to have to be readable, okay?
Yeah.
There's something that I probably said it in here. There's something I do say in classes, where if you're putting work up on the wall and somebody didn't craft it well in a crit, where it's sloppy or they don't have a clean border on it or whatever, I tend to just go, I'm not going to crit this because you don't care about it, so I don't care about it either. Okay? So just always think about that, okay?
Yeah.
Or if it's happened to me with vendors. Like if I hire a freelancer, they send me something and I go, what is this? You know what I mean? I go, you really want me to comment on this? I can't comment on this. This stuff sucks. And you didn't care. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment on it. You know what I mean? Why am I not getting...
I will say though, I am not the best with imagination, I guess you can say. So looking at everybody else's, I feel like mine is very on the nose, basic. I that's just my opinion about what I did. So.
Come on, hang on.
So that's the last one.
Okay. When I first went to Fullerton, I didn't know anything. I literally knew nothing. And my first crit, I don't know why CKIS want to turn this into a Photoshop file. Hang on. Okay, that's really weird. Why is it not letting me flatten this? Screw it. And I had my first crit with Parker. Okay, he's gone now, but I was kind of paranoid about it because I didn't know what to expect. I never done any of that, and I went and I did a really crappy job though. I did do actually a really crappy job because once I came into the class, I went, oh crap, mine sucks, right? And anyway, so when he called me up, he goes, hey, all right, what are you thinking here or whatever? And I go, well, and I made all those excuses for it, right? And I go, well, I couldn't really get the paint to work and whatever I came up with. I don't know what I said. And then he's sitting there, and Parker was funny. He was real kind of sardonic a little bit. And then he lets me go through that whole thing, and he goes, okay, now that you're done making excuses for it, can we actually talk about it? And it taught me a lesson. It was don't make excuses, dude. Do good work. And then you don't have to make your excuses. You know what I mean? And I just always think about it whenever I think about this kind of stuff, But one of the reasons that I really wanted, that I consider this, when they asked me to teach this, right? Because technically in foundation, I'm in dark, okay? Illustration number one's kind of my thing, but also I think this class, I think it's a really important class if you teach it right. And I think that part of what you just said with conceptual thinking, that's partly a very big part of why I wanted to teach this class, because I wasn't seeing that happening. And it's a really big picture reason of why I like to sit here Hopefully you guys can go on this ride with me, I hope, where I can sit here and have a discussion with you around your ideas and what works and what doesn't, because it's part of the I can't teach you to be creative, but I think I can help you unlock it, and I think I can help you put a process around it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. And then we have to, this is what people don't do, in my opinion. Some people do, but they kind of like, you need technique, because otherwise you have nothing from drawing and painting and all that. But you have to have ideas, okay? And learning to flex the muscle and create a methodology around your process of your creativity is really important, okay? And I think it's really good to have somebody, because I had really good teachers that helped me out with it, you know, help me harness it and help me, you know, it's flexing a muscle just like everything else. And the more you do it, the more you have to work through it, like with somebody like me or whatever, and go through it and like, you know, say, here's what I was thinking, and kind of walk through the process. I think it helps it a lot to work through the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All right. So what's going on here? She's looking through a spyglass?
Yeah, he's pretty much just exploring like outdoors, nature, pretty much what he's supposed to be doing. And he just, you know, in my eyes, I think of a kid that probably takes things a little too seriously. I kind of thought of my little brother because that's what he does. And as soon as he sees something, he's like, you know what, it's in nature. I can take it, I guess. And that's just the alligator. And at first, he's a little scared.
It's a little too complicated, and it's getting away from the text, right?
Yeah.
I've got to make that now. If the book now, and by the way, the book could, the 5 pages leading up to this, or 2 pages leading up to this, could be his search for what he's going to take, and then it would make sense. Okay, we just don't know that, so we're going with this. I'm kind of tying one arm behind your back a little bit story-wise. Okay.
Yeah.
But so, and I'm kind of doing that on purpose because I want you to. I know you can't say the whole story in one frame, but I'm really wanting you to really illustrate that text in a clever way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
What's your major?
My major is criminology.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But I love art though. I always have. I was, not that I need to tell my like whole life story right now. I know we're going over this, but before Fullerton, I had an opportunity to go to the Art University of San Francisco.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but there was just some issues, and I didn't end up getting to go. So, kind of like lowered my expectations for myself. But yeah, I love art though. I enjoy doing it.
I don't think switching majors is lowering your or your whatever. You know, you just went into a different field. I mean, I'm sure criminology is not an easy field, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, so you're not really lowering your thing. You might have switched gears or whatever, but you're keeping your hands in this too, right?
Yeah, I want to have this under my belt at least, you know, if it ever comes around for me to take the opportunity of doing something with it.
Even if you go into criminology or whatever, and you have this, I think it's very valuable to have this in your life, period. Okay? Whether it's just going out with a sketchbook and having some coffee in the morning, and it's just good to have it in your life, I think. Okay? One way or the other. All right. So I think it's getting a little too far away from the text. What's he doing here?
He kind of got scared at first of the alligator, so he kind of ran, and then he falls. I thought it would be funny if he fell.
Getting away
at
from
the time
text.
when
It's getting away from the text, correct?
Yeah, that's where I was stressing this whole time when I drew it.
This is
so yeah, pretty much here he kind of notices that it's friendly.
What's happening?
And then he decides, I'm gonna take this for show and tell. So in the right here is he's riding his bike, and there's 2 people in the back of him that like kind of ran into each other, and the little girl dropped her ice cream. She's like, that's an alligator.
Okay, I think again you can play with the size relationship there. What's happening here?
He's pretty much just walking down the aisle at school. Some girl went into her locker. People are just kind of noticing that's an alligator in his backpack that he's just walking casually with.
Okay. What's happening here? Oh, show and tell.
He's pretty much in class. Walks in with the alligator. I tried my best to like capture the teacher, but it didn't get as good. Her reaction.
No. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking where there are people living there. But we're just counting numbers.
Why do I hear? What am I hearing?
Yeah, sorry. There's people in the back talking.
Oh, it sounds like Phil. That's weird.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh no, it was just my brother and his friend
Well,
walking through.
It sounded like Phil. It's weird. Okay. What's happening here?
So pretty much this is the end. Like the teachers kind of noticed that the alligator's friendly, but she had already called.
Okay.
You know,
so,
animal control.
So now I know what you're doing. You're thinking sequentially. Does that make sense? So you're sort of going, here's where he finds him, kind of feels him out, finds out he's a nice alligator, puts him in his bag, rides to school, walks through the hallway, and now the teacher, you're telling a different story, different narrative. You're telling a sub-narrative within the narrative. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go back and get and knock out a few that are just illustrating that text, okay? Now, here's the hard part, okay? Because we don't want to just go, like actually the illustration that I found, part of the reason I picked that quote is because I didn't think the illustration was very good. So the illustration is the verbiage and then, you know, and she doesn't want to bring an alligator. And I think it's just the kid walking down the hallway in front of a bank of lockers with the alligator, right? And you're just kind of like, okay. You just sort of illustrated the text, basically. I mean, you can do that; it's fine. But it's nice to give it a little punch. You know what I mean? So, you know, again, there's a bunch of ways you can go to. Like the ones Troy just did. To me, what was interesting about those is, and a lot of you guys have done this, where you go down a different. Because you know, I've done this process once with a class. So we've explored a lot of solutions, and a lot of times everybody starts kind of landing on the same solution, which is normal. But you know, like Troy was giving me a lot of them that I was like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Like, and a lot of people in here did. I can't remember all the names, but and we're sort of looking for that. Okay. Now, some of you guys are probably going to land on sort of the same solutions, and that's fine. Because you know, the natural evolution. You know, I'm going through it and I'm picking words out of there, or I'm picking things out of there like. She does not mean for you to bring an alligator. Okay, that emphasis on that to me, you know, it's obvious. You don't bring an alligator to a classroom. Okay, there's part of the scenario right there. Are people afraid of it? Is he disruptive? Is he too big and clumsy? Is he, you know, and I go down that whole path, right? Is a teacher afraid of him? Is, you know, because if I make the alligator, and we've talked about this a little bit, if I make the alligator having a good time with the class, then you're kind of like, well, why does she mean not to bring an alligator then? You know what I mean? Because it looks like he's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like I told you, my dog used to come to school, and I thought it was awesome. But I found out later, this nun that I had as a teacher liked me for some reason, and basically let me not do 7th grade. She just let me sit in the back and do art for the whole year, which was awesome. But she tolerated that for like 2 weeks or whatever. But then she goes, your dog can't do that. You can't do that anymore. And I go, why not? And she goes, okay, to be honest, she goes, I was attacked by a dog when I was a kid, and I'm scared to death of dogs. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's those kind of things like when Boogie was showing up there, in my mind, I'm like, why can't he be here? You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, because A, he scares the hell out of me. And, you know, he's kind of crazy. You know, he's a little bit crazy because he was. You know what I mean? He wasn't mean. I mean, he could be mean, but he wasn't mean to everybody there. But, you know, there's a reason why he couldn't be there. There's a reason why the teacher is saying, don't bring this alligator here, right? So that's what you got to figure out, okay? Yeah? And again, look, you're looking at solutions like Troy did some solutions that were outside of the classroom. A couple people did solutions that are outside the classroom. You can go down that path. I'm fine with that. But it's got to relate to that text. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just knock out a couple of thumbnails. By the way, these look really big. Don't work big. Yeah?
Okay.
Work
Yeah.
small. And a lot of times people have trouble with that. And I always say, whatever that first big shape you put down is, make it that big. Because then every other shape is relative to it, so they can't get that big. Right?
Okay.
Because people have a
Yeah.
really hard time working small. I think I did too. I don't remember because that was back in the 1800s. So I don't really remember. But I'm sure I did. Okay? I kind of remember it a little bit. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's knock out a couple more. You don't have to knock out another, whatever, 5. Just knock out what you think. It might be more, it might be less, okay? Because after I get
Okay.
through initial pass like this, I don't really like to give you guys page numbers. Once I get through this first pass, or maybe when I start something, I might give you page numbers to goose you to do more. But once you start moving along, I want you to start being responsible for your own effort. Does that make sense? So if you need to do 20
Yeah.
pages, cool, do 20 pages. And sometimes you do 3 pages and you go, I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't, and then when I give pages, I always kind of go, well, and some people did this in here, where I go do 5 pages and somebody does 10, 15 pages. I'm like, that's awesome. Because you're exploring, you know? And I love the thumbnailing process, man, because it's just like, I don't have to worry so
Yeah.
much about drawings. I have I love really nicely drawn thumbnails, really simply drawn thumbnails. I love doing that, but I love just exploring the ideas and all that kind of stuff until I run out of ideas, and it's totally frustrating, right? And then when you run out of ideas, walk away from it for a while, right? Go get something to eat, go take your dog. I used to always take my dog
Yeah.
out. As soon as I'd hit a wall with work stuff, I'd go take my dog for a hike, or we go to the park and throw the ball or whatever. And every time I get my ideas, as soon as I let go of it and stop thinking about it, I get my ideas. Okay?
Yeah.
Work
Yeah.
smaller.
Yeah. I think I'm just getting used to working with small images. I'm so used to big
That's why they call
canvases
it a
and
thumbnail. It's like that big, right?
yeah.
Yeah, like my hand is just not cooperating with me right now. Like I don't know why.
What do you mean?
Oh, is that when making these, it's just something about it. It just feels otherworldly with my hand. Like I can't recreate something like I would like beforehand.
That's
Does
interesting.
that make sense?
Kind of.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out.
Okay. That was Priscilla. Okay. And then Madeline, have I gone through yours?
No, you haven't.
I thought I did for some reason. See, small. Okay, so let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's he doing here?
So this one I was kind of thinking about, so he's got his mouth open, so it kind of looks like the kids that are behind him looks like they're maybe going to get eaten, but they're not. Like I kind of took inspiration from there's a Roald Dahl book illustrated by Quentin Blake called The Enormous Crocodile. And like the cover of it, it's got like kids cowering behind this giant jawed thing, but if it weren't for their feet being behind it, it looks like they're about to get eaten, you know?
Okay, you could do a visual pun. I think I'd have to be able to read it a little better, but
Yeah, it was too small for me to do. Yeah.
what's happening? Okay, here they're just afraid to run into the teacher, right?
Yeah, well, like, and one of them's like pointing over, like, and
Telling
one of
them.
them's excited and going up to it, and some of them are scared, and yeah.
What's happening here?
Oh, he's kind of trying to hide the alligator. They're like reading a math book or whatever, and the teacher's kind of like leaning in, like, there's something fishy going on here.
The only thing with that is he's bringing it there to show it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be. It'd be one thing if it was like me with my dog, where I was kind of like, "Hey, Boogie, just stay low key, so nobody, screws this up,"
Mhm.
And here, coaxing him.
She's just trying to get him to come in to get into school. He's on a leash.
Here he's caged.
Hmm.
Why is he caged?
Which I don't super like. I just,
I don't like it.
I
I hate anything in a cage.
yeah,
I
that's
just hate
why,
anything in a cage. Like, I hate it when people get pets and they put it in a cage. It just, it makes me crazy.
yeah.
Like, I look at that and I go, why would you do that? You know, why would you do that? Like, would you want somebody to do that to you?
I don't know. I think I was trying to make it like, I don't know, circusy, showmany. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. But then it starts to go into a little different direction.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, here's a danger when you're an illustrator, okay? Like when you said that, when you go circus, I go, ooh, I want to draw like the circus train.
Yeah.
And do all that carved wood and put the alligator in there. And then I'm going to put a 3-ring circus in there. And then you go, okay, that's nothing to do with the story. You just want to paint that. We all have that disease, okay? We all have stuff we want to paint.
Yeah.
We all have imagery we want to fool around with. But you got to be careful with it, okay? Now, again, doesn't mean don't explore it, because you never know what little piece of that might work later on. You might have an idea. This happens all the time. You might have an idea, or with like when I was running teams or whatever, I'd always say, look, I don't want to worry about what ideas you throw out there, especially early on. I go, just throw them out there. Because they'll go, and this would happen all the time, where somebody go, hey, why don't we do this thing? You know, and I'd go, it's over the budget. And then somebody else would go, yeah, but if we did just this part of it, we could do it for budget. We won't be able to do all that stuff. And, you know, and they craft a new idea out of this idea that was wildly over budget or wildly off or whatever. There was a kernel in there of a good idea. Okay. So the thing with me is I never want to lose those things. You know what I mean? So I want to explain. And the reason I like thumbnail, and I know I said, costs nothing. It's super fast. I can try anything. There's no budget. There's not that many things in your career that are like that, where you can go, hey, I want to try this. Somebody's always going to, and it was me. Somebody would go, well, why don't you try this? And I go, okay, are you going to pay for the tooling? The tooling's going to be about $70,000. Are you going to pay for that? You want me to just try it because you want to try it? Or I go, well, they go, let's prototype it. I go, okay, do you have the $5,000 I'm going to need to go pay our vendor, our sculpting vendor, to do this and then make some working version of it, which is going to cost me at least $5,000? Are you going to pay for that? Thumbnails, you can do that, right?
Yeah.
And it's also why package design is cool, because you can just sit there and you can do a mock-up real quick, you know, on your own. You don't need anybody. I love stuff like that. But anyway, all right, what's happening here? Show and tell, basically, right?
Oh yeah, I was just imagining like how would show and tell work? Like would it be where like the kids are in a circle?
I love the circle. Like I love that.
Yeah.
And I like these two standing together, holding hands. I like all that.
Yeah.
Now, what's the payoff?
Yeah, that's I think I'd just have to work on the reactions, especially.
I love this layout. I love the kids in the circle, and I like all this about this, but I need a payoff. Like in the old days in cartoons, if you listen to old guys talk about those old Warner Brothers cartoons, they don't say jokes, they say gags. You know what I mean? They go,
yeah.
Those things have
like
gags.
You could get paid extra if you come up with a gag.
Well, it's if you watch those old, you know, and I come from the generation. Well, actually, that's before my generation, but I grew up with those. If you watch those old Warner Brothers cartoons, they're funny as hell. You know what I mean? And those gags are
so good.
Yeah, and so you know, you want to have a payoff. You want to have a gag here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With anything, you know, but there's something here. What I might do, you know, got them on paper. I might start going like if I you know, I could do it on a piece of trace. I might just start going in here. I don't know, like just starting with anything and going, I'm going to go, because I don't want these kids to all be scared of them. There's something nice about this.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be scared of them. I'm just trying to figure out like, and maybe I might start coming in here and playing with expressions. And I want it to lead me somewhere. Like, what is it here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because again, this staging's really nice. As a composition, it's really nice. She's got her hand out. She's explaining. So a lot of times I'll just start. I do this all the time. Like you'll get lay people, civilians, who always ask you, they go, where do you get your ideas at? Right? Number one, who knows? But part of it's research. But I always say if I don't have an idea, I just start drawing. I just start doodling over things and like if I know that there's something here I kind of like, then I'm going to start doodling over it and see if I can trigger an idea that'll push this where I need it to be. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
just from a 2-page spread layout, this would be a great layout. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could put a rug right there, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking about there being like ABCs around the rug and stuff.
Or something, whatever stuff. You know, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Kid stuff. You know. And again, if I'm going to do that, maybe I'll hide a couple of Easter eggs in here. You know, it's really fun, especially when you're a kid. When you open the page and you go, wow, it's cool, you know, and you're looking at it, and your mom reads it to you, and all of a sudden you go, ooh, look back there, there's a frog back there, you know, or whatever, you know, and then you go, oh, here, you know, it gets, you know, it's fun. It's still fun. You don't have to be a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know. Is there a mic on? Okay. I think that's a contender. I don't know how you do it, but it's a contender. Okay, so she just him here?
What?
She just
Sorry, you cut out for a second.
Somebody got a mic on?
Sorry. Hold it. I think that's my little brother outside. Let me just
That's all right. If it's yours, it's fine. What's it keep doing that? Okay.
Sorry. I got him to move.
Okay, so
I
what's
have the
happening here?
bedroom that's like right in front of the front yard, so. Oh, that's the teacher like just coming face to face to the alligator and being kind of shocked by it. I was kind of thinking of there was this book I read when I was little that was called Herbert the Lion. And it was this lion who was just trying to be friendly to people, and everybody was just so shocked and like
I like that she
terrified by it.
Overly shocked. She looks inquisitive, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe his expression should be a little, because it feels like them both. There's something about that scene there. Wait. Yeah, there's something about that she looks sort of inquisitive, like it's a first meeting, like feeling each other out. But I think his expression to be more puppy love me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Puppies make those faces.
Or just at least like smiling.
Where your dogs go, just love me. I want you to love me. And they do those faces and you're like, you can't help but love them, you know? I think he really wants to be liked like a puppy does, at least in this context. Because then I think the expressions would work. Because if he looks a little puppy-like, she's kind of coming up going, you don't look mean or what, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I might just play around with his expression, you know.
Okay.
And here he's almost like in a big fishbowl kind of deal, right?
Yeah. I was thinking like, how would a kid imagine bringing an alligator to class? Like,
I'm going to show you guys a page if I can find it. Just because you got a couple of you guys have done wagons, and there's just a scene where you curve the ground. It's just a neat compositional idea. Just because this sparked that in my head, that's the only reason why. There's something kind of interesting there. I think, though, maybe this could take place like, if I was going to do that, I might have them in the classroom. Come on. Might have them in the classroom. In his whatever. And here's the alligator. You know, and then around, you know, this kid could be presenting. You know, like, hey. Very proud. And then this alligator, whatever he's doing, right? He's got his feet or hands right there. He's happy. But there's like water all over the floor.
Yeah, that.
You
I
know, it's a
like that.
big mess. You know, maybe his water's down to here now because he spilled half of it. Tail comes out. Maybe his tail's
Or
like,
the teacher could be like soaking wet.
yeah, maybe the lamp's getting knocked sideways. Yeah, and the teacher's over here and she's got that like really drippy hair. Maybe she's sitting in a pool, you know. So then it makes a big mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's getting away also from the teacher being petrified or whatever, you know. She's just like, oh God, you know what I mean? And I think sometimes that's a good thing.
Like this might as well happen.
Yeah, I think with children's books, to me, they want to be warm and fun. That's what I want out of them. When I was a kid, I didn't want, and I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
I did not want messaging. Now, I'm from an older generation, and maybe you guys do, okay? There's definitely going to be a lot of it out there. Okay, it's already happening. Like, I've seen a bunch of children's books lately that are really hardcore messaging on very adult themes, okay? Maybe this generation's going to like that. I don't know, you know? I don't make those rules, okay? I should make those rules, but I don't. Okay. What's this one? Okay. Oh, I took a bite out of the book?
Yeah.
That's clever. That's really simple. That's clever. I never thought of taking a bite out of something. That's clever. And I like the simplicity of that. That's a contender.
Okay.
And then you got to make sure it's okay. Is it the book? Is it? That's probably a good idea. I think the book's actually probably a really good idea.
Yeah.
These are the kids riding on them, right?
Yeah, like I don't know, they're just hanging out and reading him and reading on it and using him as a pillow and. Yeah.
Again, that sounds fun. Like, why shouldn't he be there, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you push it a little bit, we talked about this a little bit, where he's sort of being disruptive because the kids are too into him and stuff like that, then that adds a little bit of that layer to it. But I think you have stronger.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Is this sort of a variation on the other one?
Yeah. Yeah. Or I was like, maybe I should put the kid in there with him. But,
I might have him reaching out a little more.
Yeah.
Like, or whatever you call that. And I don't know. Again, I say these things and then maybe he's pulling forward a little more.
Yeah.
And they have these little hands. I always want to do something with the tail, but I don't know if he could there. That sort of first meeting, I don't know. I think you have stronger ones.
Okay.
And then the idea of the show thing.
Okay.
Right? See, this gets into where
I was like,
you know what I mean?
I was thinking of like in Young Frankenstein, to do the little putting on the Ritz thing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so genius, by the way.
So funny.
This is them going to school, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like imagining like just having them going in and like skipping together, you know, and he's carrying her books or whatever.
This is just the teacher being startled by them coming in, right?
Yeah. Like they're late to class and they show up and the door slams open and they're like, what?
Too complicated.
Yeah.
How do I know they're late for class?
Yeah, I haven't.
What's happening here in this one?
This was another one where they're like reading or something and the teacher's like, what? Why is there an alligator
I
here?
think if I had that, if I was going to do that, and I'd probably I'd have them face. I'd have them like. I have a drawing of a panda doing this somewhere. Again, because I used to do those text things, and it was one of those ones I did for a friend of mine. Because it's a whole long story, but she likes to think of herself as a panda, so I drew her as a teenage panda, right? And she's in her room, and she's reading like a book, like on the floor with her feet up behind her, like kids do. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I might do something like that where, with the hands on the face like that.
Oh, I feel like I wanted to do that, and then I was like, I can't figure out how to get this tiny alligator to do that in
The
the
hands.
thumbnail.
And then, I'd find some way. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get the legs. And then I'd have this, coming around. And I'd find some way to sort of suggest that leg thing. I can't really do it with his legs. I don't know. Maybe you can put them up like, I don't know. I have to figure out some way to put them up. That's weird looking. But, they would sometimes they'll cross them over each other. It's probably hard to do.
Yeah.
But I think doing this is the key. You know what I mean? It's like thing, smiling, it's happy, And then I'd have the other kids, because you're doing it here actually with this kid. I didn't even see. I might have another kid doing that. And that kid could have her feet up like that. Another kid. And then I'm getting back into my round thing again, which I kind of like. Your round thing. But again, it goes, well, that sounds nice. Why wouldn't I want this alligator there? That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like to change it up, like all the kids be distracted from their reading because they're just staring at him.
It's a little complicated to sort of show that. Okay? And I think you have stronger ones. So you know which ones we think are strong, right? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think you have some pretty good ones.
I think we skipped a page.
Did we?
Yeah. I don't know.
Did that one. Did that one. That's all the pages I have. Oh, wait a minute. What is that? One. Oh, wait. Probably over here. Hang on. That's a different one, right? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's happening here?
Yeah. That's all the kids lined up for class, and both of those are kids lining up for class, and they're kind of spaced away from the kid with the alligator, not because they're like scared, but they're like, what? They're kind of weirded out by that. Yeah.
Let me get stronger ones. How White does that every now and then. It makes that weird noise.
Okay.
Teacher reading?
Yeah. That one has the alligator doing the thing, but
again, I've got to have that
yeah,
He's feeding them books?
Oh yeah, they're like feeding them all the schoolwork and stuff.
Because they don't want to do it, right?
I was just like, yeah, what's the most chaotic thing they could do with it,
My dog ate my homework.
Yeah.
My alligator ate my homework. Okay, I like the other ones. Okay?
Okay.
Which ones? I think there's a couple of them in there I thought were really pretty strong.
Okay.
I love it when we get past this part because then we can actually start working on the design. I love the design.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Madeline. Did I go through Letitia? Is it Letitia? Where's she at? She here?
Hello. It's Leticia.
Leticia. Where are you at? I don't see you on here.
I did put it in. Maybe I put it in the wrong folder.
Oh, no, you got them. I got them.
I
just want to make sure you're here before I open them. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have them. I got a folder, but there's nothing in it.
Gotta put them in. I remember
Yeah, they're not. It's an empty folder. See? So I'll jump forward. Put them on the drive. Laura, I went through yours. Where's Laura at?
I'm here. You already went through mine.
Okay. Have you figured out your puzzle yet? Laura. Where's Laura now? Am I lagging?
Yeah.
I am. Laura.
A bit.
I think we're frozen. Hang on.
Hey, Laura, I think you were muted earlier. I don't think anybody heard what you said. That's probably it. Whoops, sorry. Can you hear me now, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm working through the desk idea, instead of it being a bathtub, being a desk with all the different items you're supposed to bring.
And are you
It's
starting?
not as clear because it's not as simple.
Are you starting to work on the one figuring out the bathtub idea?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm just curious. And you don't have to show anything yet. I get it.
No problem. Yeah.
I want you to have some time to work on it. I'm going to expect a monster illustration from you, by the way. I've seen you work with wash, so I know you know how to do this. JR? Is JR here? Did I already go through these? Wait, let me look. No, I don't think I did. Is JR here?
Kind of rough.
Okay, there you are. I didn't go through these?
Not yet.
Okay. Let's go through them. I'll try and burn through them a little quicker than I did last time. Okay. What's happening here?
The first one
Yeah.
is alligator bringing the kid in.
Okay. And the teacher's pissed?
Yeah.
What's happening here?
It's like the other way around.
Okay.
Except everyone's alligator except the kid.
It gets away from the text. Okay.
Yeah.
What's happening here? This kid's got this stuff. These kids got other stuff, and she's got this, right? Yeah.
Which one over here?
This one here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Each kid has the like in the text.
It's just getting a little too on the nose. Does that make sense?
Text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then again, these kids have their stuff, and he has the alligator, right?
Yeah.
It's getting a little too on the nose. This is meeting the teacher. Teacher doesn't like it, correct?
Yep.
That's getting a little more aggressive. I get it. I think it might be a little aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do, I mean, it's not that it's so aggressive, but it's like, it almost feels like it needs to be set up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the teachers, and this is a stupid idea, but like the teacher's wearing a dress with a decorative element on it that looks like fruit. And so he goes after her dress or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, there's the show and tell part.
Show and tell.
What's happening here? Are they fighting?
I was thinking maybe the kid is trying to catch the alligator.
Is what?
Trying trying to catch him.
Okay, that's a different story. And this is on the bus?
Bus.
Do the kids like it, or are they just tripping out on them?
I think they're kind of interested, but
This kid
kind of staying back.
I like
Yeah.
this pose right here. I'm not sure if the idea will work or not. And what's happening here? Fishing?
Same thing, yeah. Catching the gator.
Oh, we caught the gator. Nah, we don't care about that part. We care about what's happening in the, basically in the classroom. This is him going to school, right?
Yeah.
I think it's really if you're going to do that where he's in the backpack or whatever, which I'm not opposed to. It's really how do the kids react? It's really about that. Does that make sense? Like, you don't want them terrified, you want them, but you want a reaction. And I don't know, you have to kind of work that out. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is where they're all just riding them and the teacher's not digging it because they're disruptive, correct?
Yep, not digging it.
That could work. Okay. I think you got to have the teacher not like too pissed off, like look more annoyed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
That could work because that'd be a fun thing to illustrate. And I like that you put the, I'm assuming that's the text thing there. This is him bringing him in, right?
Yeah.
I think that one, you could do kind of what some of the other people did with, I probably might push this alligator even bigger off the page. I'm not seeing the whole alligator. And then I see the hand, maybe the hand comes down from up here and the kid has to sort of reach up, turn a little more, and strain a little more to get, because he's so big. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then it could just be all about, I don't think I'd have the teacher super pissed off. I'd have them sort of mouth agape, whatever, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And then this big tail. And again, the kid has to sort of, reach up to hang on to his hand, right?
Yeah.
Because you're already pushing them off the page. Why not go bigger? And then again, I got a nicer pose with the kid hanging on to this thing and all that. And what I like about that, it's simple. It's just about the teacher's reaction. I mean, the teacher could be doing one of these like, oh God, you know what I mean? Because I'm sure an elementary school teacher every day is, oh God, these kids are crazy. Kids are crazy. I don't know anybody controls that kind of thing.
Kids are crazy.
That made me crazy. I couldn't do that. This is him showing up at school, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What's he doing with the kids there? Messing with them, playing with them?
Yeah, playing with them.
I can see the teacher getting mad at that. What's he doing here?
I guess he's being a D-bag, I guess.
He's what?
He's being a D-bag.
All right. That's a different story again. Here the kids are playing with him, right?
Yeah.
And here, this is the teacher scared of him?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the ones I think that you can work on is this one, right?
Yep.
What was the other one? There's another one.
Well, on the writing on her.
That's the one we just did. Let me zoom out of these things. This one is a potential. I think those two are your potentials. Okay?
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay. Carla, did I go through yours? I did, right? Is Carla here?
I'm right here.
Did I go through yours?
No, you have not.
Oh, okay. And they're a
No,
Word.
sir.
It's a Word document.
Yeah, I was having trouble doing it through the Google Doc. Hopefully it's all 5 pages. Is it? Please
I
tell
gotta
me it
open.
is.
I gotta open it in Word. One of my least favorite programs.
Sorry.
Google Drive wasn't taking it?
No, I'm like a noob when it comes to Google Drive and technology, so I did it the easy peasy way.
They basically put them in a folder. They can be JPEGs, PNGs, whatever. I would just do JPEGs or PNGs. As long as you're signed into Google Drive, you just got to click that link and then drag them into the folder. Okay?
Okay.
That's why I do it that way. I'm trying to make it easy because I'm just trying to make it easy for everybody, right? For me too. Okay, so let's
Next time I'll do.
Okay, I like these thumbnails. Okay, what do you what's this first one? Oops.
I drew the alligator, a little girl, and a little tutu because they're gonna present like their little dance routine.
Yeah.
While the other students have like their little knickknacks and stuff, and the teacher looks pleasantly surprised, like, "Oh, this is cool." Oh, it's either like she's either hiding or she looks like, "Oh, damn, what is this?" I wasn't sure, so I drew both of them, trying to see like
Okay.
how it would look.
What's this one with the barrel or she's just bringing them to school? Number 2?
Yeah, she's going through the neighborhood, taking the little alligator on a little wagon. He has like a little backpack.
Oh, I like the backpack. Okay, what's this? Number 3?
Number 3 is they got in trouble after the teacher
principals.
found out, and so
Principal's
they're
office.
waiting. Yeah, they're waiting in the principal's, and then the principal is like, "What's going on? What's happening?" And the teacher, I couldn't really draw it that much because I was losing the
No,
page.
I get the idea. I
But,
think that could work. I mean, everybody knows what that means. If you're sitting in the principal's office, you got in trouble, right?
yeah, and if I do decide doing this one, the little girl is she's gonna have like this kind of like this face, like, yeah, I kind of got away with it, like
Yeah,
kind
I
of happy.
I
And she
also
brought her alligator.
because this should be, I think, a pretty young kid. Hang on, what is this? This is hang on. Somebody else had a problem with this. Okay. Here. I don't know if this even matters yet. It's a little early to talk about this. But I might really push the idea of kid. So if she's sitting on this,
Okay.
if she's sitting on this, whatever you call it, I'm gonna do a really crappy drawing here. I might have her legs really short where I'm seeing her feet. They don't even go over the edge. Does that make sense? Or barely go over the edge.
Okay.
Because I'd really want to push that idea of kid. Okay. I might look up some kids and see, because kids do funny things. They sit funny. You know, they're not very, depending on how young they are, they're not very coordinated. You know what I mean? And sometimes they're not very self-aware. They just do weird stuff that's just not very self-aware. But anyway, and then work out that principal's office thing. I would go, yeah. So that could work. I'm surprised I haven't thought of it already. This is just going through the hallway, right?
Yeah. Going through the hallway, people are like, they're scared, going like, oh damn, what's that? There's like in the bag, I was gonna draw someone hiding in the trash can.
Okay, that could work.
And then like the
Have them in
person.
the trash can, have them just peeking out, right? I like the idea of them peeking out. I think Jessie did that in hers, where they're sort of looking, peeking in through the door. I like that as a instead of like the way my brain is always going, where they're sort of pulling away. I like the idea of them peeking out or peeking behind something, being behind the door like she had them. I thought all that stuff was pretty effective, and it doesn't feel terrifying or anything like that. You know what I mean? This one, the kids just showing the teacher this, and she's freaking out, right?
Yeah. Like holding the little alligator.
This is the show idea.
Not very well. Kind of like a baby, or like kind of like carrying him.
This is the show.
Yeah, it's like juggling and like.
Is this the bus stop?
No, I didn't really know where I was going with that one, so sort of gave up on that one. But I just drew them like walking to school. Like
What's
the
he got,
alligator
like-
has like a little guitar in the back.
There's something about the guitar that's kind of funny. Like, I don't know if it would read enough for like a kid reading it, but there's something funny about the idea of the show, part of the show and tell. And if the alligator was going with the kid, and he's got like, you know, those guitar cases that strap on your back, like those kind of things.
For idea number 13, I actually drew them playing the guitar together.
Okay, wait a minute. What's this one?
That one, they're waiting for the school bus, and the driver's like looking and seeing, oh, what is going on, and the kids are also like peeking, like, oh, what's going on, and then like I drew a little cowboy hat on the alligator, just cause.
Just cause. What's this over here? 10.
Number 10. Like she was gonna meet up with her friend, but as soon as her friend saw like she was with an alligator, they all hid behind like a bush, and like one of them is like running away, but they're like in front of the school, so they're like meeting up at school.
Okay. Might be a little complicated. Here's 11. This is showing up at school, correct?
It's basically the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. And then 12. Oh, this is like the juggling thing, right?
Yeah, except he's on a little unicycle, and the kids are like amazed.
Somebody stole my unicycle when I was a kid, which sucks, by the way. What's happening?
Suck.
19. Forget the fact 19? That I was dorky enough to have a unicycle. But this is 14.
13 is the one that they're playing the guitar, and then 14 is they're trying to do like a ballet recital. So they're like different ideas there.
Actually, the recital thing is kind of funny. If you did it.
Yeah, and instead of a boy alligator, it's a girl alligator.
But it might be kind of funny if you think about the recital thing. If it's, you know, you definitely have to have the sign, you know, show and tell, you know, on the chalkboard or whatever, right? But then you could go alligator. It's very happy. His hands are kind of coming up this way. And then you have like, he's sitting at a grand piano.
It's cute.
You know, with the thing up, however that works. You know, it has the thing. And he's playing. And the kid's like, again, you know, check him out. So it's literally like a recital. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love the idea that the alligator was like, maybe even has, his tail could come down, sort of like tails. You know, and if he was very regal looking while he's playing the piano, does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, like a classical, serious guy, you know.
He can also be wearing a little bow tie.
Yeah, he could be wearing like he could be wearing like a little, I mean, you could go all out and put him in a tuxedo if you want. Or he could just be wearing the little dicky thing.
Yeah.
That is. You know, in the old cartoons, they'd always, when their dicky came out, it would roll up. I don't know if you've ever seen that. You know, maybe it rolls a little bit and he's got a little bow tie on because he's an alligator. He doesn't know, it really doesn't look that good. Right?
Yeah.
Alligators aren't.
Sorry, I'm like taking notes over here.
What happened here? I just did something weird. Hang on. Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can find Word because these are in Word. Word is the enemy. Okay. So the idea of recital, I like that idea. That's a funny idea. You know what I mean? What's happening here?
She's presenting him as like a superhero alligator, and like the kids are all happy because they're like, oh yeah, it's cool, an alligator that's a superhero.
But why is he a superhero? Why is he?
I don't know. It's just an idea that came up. Just a random idea.
My only problem, or not my only problem, but it's a little off text. My other thing is like I'm personally just like superhero. I'm superheroed out. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah.
There's like 10 billion shows on right now that are about superheroes, which is super weird to me, but whatever. Okay, what's going on here? 16.
They're walking in the door, and they're like, "Hi, I'm here."
And she's flipping out?
Yeah. They're all flipping out, and people are looking, like gathering up.
This one, I know where that came from. Yeah?
Do you?
Huh?
I'm sorry, you're like cutting up. You're lagging.
I know where that one came from. This one.
Oh, yeah. I kind of took it as a reference.
That's not a reference. You're putting it out as an idea, correct? Yeah? You there?
Yeah. Sorry, you're really lagging. You're lagging. Your video completely lagged.
Hey, give me a second.
I think he left.
You kicked me out. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I back?
I can't see you.
Can't see you, but we hear you.
But you can hear me.
I don't think your mic camera thing.
Hang on. I can see all you guys.
There you go.
And I'm back?
But it's still now. Yeah, it's still lagging for me. Oh, can't see you anymore.
Okay. Crap.
You're frozen.
Okay, hang on. God damn it. Hang on. Let's see if I can get this. Oh. Okay, how about now?
Better. Better.
Okay, it switched over. I don't know why. It switched off my booster and onto the other thing. So, this one. That one, number 17. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. Your screen isn't sharing though.
Oh, you're just seeing me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's because it kicked me out. Okay, that's fine. All right, now you can see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, you guys. 17 is this. Correct? Where'd you go?
Yes.
Don't
I'm right here.
Don't take somebody else's ideas. Yes? I'll always know. Like
Yes, sir.
I won't remember nothing, but you put a drawing on there and it's out there, I'll know. That's all I do. That's all I think about. Okay. All right. And I get it. Sometimes you see it, it's hard. You go, damn it, that's such a cool idea. Well, it's already taken, right? And then there's some ideas, by the way, that get recycled. Everybody recycles certain ideas. Okay. Somebody in here had the alligator tearing at the back of her pants. I can find that in 10,000 cartoons. It doesn't mean it's off limits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, this is a show and tell thing again.
Yeah, he's on a skateboard.
Be careful with that, because now you're doing what I was talking about, where you're iterating the same idea. It's like, okay, they're playing guitar, now he's juggling, now he's a recital, now he's on a skateboard, now, but it's all that's all the same idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I get it. I also get it that you're like trying to find the right solution. But when I see him, I just want to see a pure thing. Because once you go, okay, the show and tell thing, the show part of the show and tell, I get all that. Now, where you went sideways and had a new idea is when you mentioned the word recital. Okay? Because then that takes it to a different territory. It's still show and tell, but it was a recital. And when I think of recital, it's like I think of piano, I think of formal, and there's something funny in that visually. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And I never thought of the word recital, like show and tell recital. That kind of makes sense, you know? Okay, what's 19? That's going to school again, right?
Yeah, except this time the alligator's nervous to go to school.
Okay.
So
And then this is doing the show and tell right here, right?
yes. Again, the alligator's nervous and the kid's like, oh damn, maybe I should have not brought her to show and tell.
Hard to, I mean, you could show that the alligator's nervous. A little hard to show what the kid's thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could do some variation on the nervous thing, I guess, but it's really got to read. And the other thing you got to remember with children's books, and part of the reason we picked this, or I picked this, is this has to read to a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Right? So a 5-year-old's not going to understand super complex situations. Does that make sense? 5-year-olds basically got to look at it and get pulled into it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's an interesting place. She turned the corner and there's a magical castle. You know, that's all going to pull a kid in, right?
Okay.
But they have to be very, I think you could play with your recital idea. I think you could play with, I think this could be fun if they're at the bus stop and you know, the bus is coming up and all the kids are looking out the thing. They're not scared or anything, but all those heads are out, which looks to me like how you drew it. All the heads are out the bus, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That could be a fun image, you know, where all the kids are, you know, that kind of makes sense, okay? So 9 is a contender. I think the principal's office is a contender. Those are your 3 contenders.
Okay.
And then those are your 3 contenders.
Okay.
So flesh them out a little bit.
Gotcha.
Now it's a little, and don't start designing characters and all that stuff for any of you guys. I just want the idea refined, because by what day is today? Wednesday? Did I freeze again?
Yeah, the second.
Okay, so
No.
we're gonna miss a day, which sucks. Oh, by the way, in my cartooning class, I've done this in this class, I've done it in different classes, but I never thought of combining it. I'm gonna do like open meetings on Zoom. I'm just gonna pick a day. I might do one tomorrow, maybe at 11, maybe. But I don't know why I'm just going, I'll do it with this class. It's like, I'm gonna just put it on. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and do this once a week, whenever I can. I'm gonna have an open Zoom meeting, okay? You can show up or not show up. You don't have to tell me, you don't have, it's not a requirement. I'm doing it because like this class and cartooning especially, those 2 classes, but like kind of all of them, there's a lot of stuff to discuss. There might be things midweek where you're kind of going, hey, I want to go over this thing, or I got a question, or I got that. You can jump in there and do that if you want to do that. Do you guys want to do that? It's not a requirement.
Sure. Yeah.
If I go in there, and I want you to understand this because I've had, sometimes teachers do this kind of crap, or not just teachers, anybody. They'll do that, and then nobody shows up, like, whatever, and then they go, you know, man, I did this meeting and you guys didn't show up. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't care if you show up, okay? Because I know sometimes you're not going to. It's fine. Like, you might not have any questions. It's fine, okay? I don't care. If I go in there and nobody's there, I'm probably going to hang out for 10 minutes. I'm going to split. The one thing, if you want to do it, then you need to be on time for it, or like reasonably on time for it, because I'm only going to hang out for about 10 minutes if nobody's there, okay? And it's just going to be for whatever. And I think I'm going to just put it in all my classes at the same time. So there might be people from Fundamentals of Cartooning there. That might be you guys. It might be whatever. And I just want to have it open. And another thing, I mean, I don't really care what you guys want to talk about. I mean, if you want to talk about painting technique, I don't care. Okay, I like everything. Okay, it's just I just feel like, especially with this, where we're talking about a lot of narrative and all this kind of stuff, that sometimes you kind of need to talk it through. Or especially when we get into, like, when we start getting into, you know, technique and start working on our projects, you know, you might hit a wall, and I don't want you to have to wait for class, you know, to work through the problem, okay? And it might be something simple where you're like, what kind of wash should I use on this initial pass, or what should I do here? I don't know what that, I don't like that flat color, but what can I do? It might just be stuff like that, okay? Or it could be the story stuff, and you go, hey, you know what? I did a new one. I kind of like this. What do you think? You know, anything. I don't care. You don't have to RSVP. You don't have to tell me if you're not showing up. You don't have to do anything except show up if you want to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I just want to make that clear because I don't want anybody to think it's like an obligation or anything, because it's not, okay? It's just something I'm doing to try and, you know, keep our dialogue going, okay? Whether it's technique or story, I don't care. I don't care what it is, actually, okay? Because I'm going to have a class in there that's sketching. I'm going to have a class in there that's traditional media. I'm going to have a class in there that's fundamentals of cartooning. And I'm going to have illustration and something else. Oh, 107, digital drawing. Okay. What about Kelsey? Did I go through yours?
No, not yet.
Okay. I got to screen cap this room at some point. Okay, I did my first screen cap. I haven't done my second one. Not that anybody cares or anything. What's he doing here? He's very excited. Why do we have dialogue?
I wasn't sure if you wanted dialogue, so I just put it in just in case.
I gave you the dialogue.
Okay.
Okay, so here, is this at school?
No, it's before school.
Okay. Here, this the alligator's driving the kid to school, right?
Uh-huh. That's
kind of funny. I kind of like that. But I mean, I don't know if it relates to the text enough. I like the idea. I don't know if it relates to the text. Everybody's afraid. That's kind of interesting. The only problem with this is I really feel like that needs her dialogue. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I like the pose. I'm totally reading the pose that she's nervously doing this. Okay. They warm up to him. Then it's happy. Why shouldn't he be there? Right? That make sense?
Yeah.
And then here, he's riding him. You can ride him, but I'd make it a big statement. I don't know if somebody talked about this maybe before. You know, I'd probably, if I was riding him in, I think somebody did talk about this, like a cowboy kind of idea. You know, I might do one of those crazy elaborate, you know, rodeo poses, you know, where the thing's up in the air and the guy's got one arm flung up in the air and, you know, blah, 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 and all that. Because that'd be fun to draw. Yeah, it'd be a crazy splash page. Like if you open up that page, it'd be a crazy page, right? Nervous for class, okay. Getting sent to the office for rule breaker. Okay, so I forgot who were we just talking to that had the Carla. I think it was Carla. The kid sitting in the principal's office. What I like about that scenario is everybody knows what it means. You got in trouble. And it's an alligator and a kid sitting there. That's just it's a funny juxtaposition of images, okay? Sort of when the teacher's like doing this, it can mean too many things. It looks like it's just saying, get out of here. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
What's this one? This not 4.
It's just it's the principal, but he's a rabbit. But it kind of doesn't make any sense. Because I thought that the thumbnails were supposed to be one sequence altogether, but it's supposed to be like different sequences.
It's not a sequence. It's one. It's a 2-page spread, right?
Yeah.
So let me see if there's one in here. There probably is. I don't know if you can see this very well. That's a 2-page spread. So it's one image going across 2 pages, right? Now, usually, it's usually a really cool page, right? Another 2-page one, right? Now this book's a little more serious. It's about Lincoln and stuff, so it's not like the most fun looking. It's a cool looking book, but it's not super kid. I wish I had my Duchess of Whimsy book here because that one's great. But anyway, and you're just illustrating that moment that's in that text. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back. Like, I don't know why the principal would be a rabbit. Right?
Yeah.
Unless we establish the whole book was anthropomorphic animals, which happens all the time. But it has to be established already, okay?
Okay.
What's maybe next time?
They just got sent home, and they're sad that they're leaving home.
I mean, this one here where he's writing, I think there's something you could do with that, but you'd have to stage it in a different way.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, when you show me a bus with him riding alongside of it, and my brain just makes connections. I start thinking about those cowboy movies where the train's out in the middle of nowhere and the bandits ride up and they're riding along the train. Everybody's looking out going, holy crap, we're going to get robbed, and then they climb on the train. And I start thinking about that running across it. And I don't know if there's anything there or not. I don't have any connection. It's just when you show me that image. And again, I'm going back to my illustration brain and going, man, I'd like to illustrate the alligator running alongside the bus like a train, but I don't really have a reason for it. You know what I mean? Okay, so give me a couple more, okay? Yeah? Where you at? Kelsey? Did I freeze again?
Maybe.
You can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Wow. That was
Mike
weird.
froze.
Okay, Kelsey, do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, just give me a couple more. And it doesn't have to be as many, but I mean, I would just work, again, do as many as you need to do to figure it out, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all that thing. Okay, who have I missed? Have I missed anybody?
Yeah, I haven't gone over mine yet.
You also didn't go over mine.
Who?
Also me.
Okay. All right. I thought, June, are you in my fundamentals class, fundamentals cartooning?
Yeah, I am.
That's why I thought I went through yours.
That's okay.
What are they doing here? Number one.
First one, they're like waiting for the bus, but there's like disapproval from the other kids. But it's like, once again, it's like there's not that teacher, part of it. So that one wouldn't work.
What you doing here?
He's like pushing the water fountain for the alligator because his hands can't reach it.
Oh, yeah. I was like the little. Did you ever see T-Rex tries?
No, I don't think I did.
It was just all these sight gags. They were like, I think they were little cartoons. I don't think they were animated. I don't think. But it was just a bunch of jokes about T-Rex, and it was called T-Rex tries. And it was just like T-Rex tries to pick an apple, and he's like.
Was it like a book or something, or?
No, I think it was like an internet thing. I can't remember now, but they were funny. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I've probably seen it somewhere then.
Like T-Rex tries to tie his shoes, and all the jokes are about he had little teeny arms, right?
Yeah.
Which was, to me, is endlessly funny, probably because I'm not that, intelligent.
No, it is.
Um,
Number 3, they're like showing him off, but from like a worm's eye perspective, so it's kind of like dramatic.
Okay. This is marching through the halls. Everybody's climbing up on the thing. I like the viewpoint.
Thanks. And then the little alligator's almost like bringing the swamp with him. It's like water's kind of like coming in with like some cattails.
I think you could do something there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the kids have to, if you did something like that, I don't think the kids have to look super terrified. I think they have to look, because I think when I was a kid, I would, if I was jumping up on a locker, I wouldn't be terrified. I'd be like, you can't get me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
But I'm up on the locker. I'm up on top of the locker, so it's telling you I'm smart enough to be afraid of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like the more and more I think about it, the more and more I don't like the idea of anybody being terrified or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not because I think like kids are gonna have nightmares or anything. It's just like
it's not like appealing.
Yeah, it's just not that appealing. And I'm like a big if I have my way, I either watch documentaries or I watch happy movies. I don't like to watch stuff that's like that's like sad. I don't like to watch things that are just horrible violence. I'm totally fine with mindless happy movies and stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm the same way. Like I don't want to watch like something like super just kind of like and then all the children died and you're like, well, that's great. I'm my ninth room, so it's like.
Well, my girlfriend was watching Versailles, which is a really interesting show. It's really well done.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then there'd just be these sequences of insane brutality, and I'm like, I can't take this. Like people being tortured. It's very graphic. I'm like, I don't want to see this. It's like I don't want to think about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that stuff. I'd rather think about happy fun time. You know, bright colors. It's why I like kids stuff, man.
Yeah.
So what's happening here?
He's kind of like he brought the egg. It's like everybody else's idea. Brought the egg to school. And the gator's like popping out.
Is he like doing this? Like.
Yeah.
I love that gesture. Like that's a fun gesture because you're always thinking like or mouth agape or whatever, but you never think like what the hell, you know?
Yeah. Number two, the kid's kind of like admiring his gator, but the gator's like breaking through like the windows and like crushing like the wall.
What's
and
happening?
Then he's introducing his gator in the show, but the gator's like walking through the classroom, he like spots somebody's lunch.
And here, what's he doing?
He's just kind of like the backpack was kind of like hard to like simply render, but he's like popping out of the backpack and he's like lunging at the teacher, kind of like the first one I had talked about that one day.
I don't think I would have him lunging at the teacher, but like somebody did didn't we talk about one where he's coming out of a cake?
Yeah.
It could be that same visual gag.
Yeah, and I think I like when you kept mentioning.
He's jumping out of the whatever you call it, the backpack.
Yeah.
But I think it should just be like ta-da, you know.
Yeah, like something more fun. Number one, there's like almost like a swamp coming out of a kid's desk, and the gator's kind of like weaving his way throughout the classroom.
It sort of starts to set up some sort of magical thing where the swamp's going with him, which feels a little off text to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The kids are scared here.
Yeah, but there's some kids intrigued, like the little one sitting kind of like in the center. But then like the kid who brought the gator, he's just like enthusiastically like telling the class about him.
What's happening here?
Same thing like the backpack idea, but it's like the composition's a bit different, and like the kids are like climbing on him and like kind of getting all over the place.
And then here?
Here like the gator, it's more almost like graphic, but the gator takes up the entire page. Like you don't see any of the classroom, and like the chalkboard's kind of like meshed into the like everybody's like sliding in between the gator's like body. One, he's kind of like on a stage, like there's a stage and it looks like a little movie theater, and he's just like presenting the gator.
Making a huge leap to the movie theater. Right? That make sense?
Yeah. It's like too much.
Now, you know, there's ways you could play with that because most schools have a cafeteria or something, and like we had one, it did have.
Mm-hmm.
you know, but they'd put up folding chair, you know. And it did have a curtain and everything, you know. What's happening here?
Yeah. He's like breaking through the door, kind of like everything's getting crazy, and the teacher's just kind of like not having it because he has like his coffee, but the kids are having like different reactions.
This guy's up on the chandelier. Why is the gator up there?
I didn't have a good reason for that. I just thought it was like kind of like fun looking, but like I guess it wouldn't make sense.
Never go into an art meeting and say I don't have a reason for it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And another thing that I always tell everybody, when you're doing, like if you go and, it could be this, or it could be like you're working for a studio or whatever. One thing it's like the death of people usually is they'll go, don't ever go into those things, and the art director goes, wow, I really like that. What were you thinking there? And you go, I just think it looked cool. That ain't gonna fly. They're gonna be like, oh, you just think it looks cool? That's not a reason. You know what I mean? Because ideally you want these things to resonate. Okay?
Yeah, like have a purpose.
Yeah, and I always say this, like when I used to, way back when, I think DreamWorks has gotten a lot better. DreamWorks, if Pixar did Bugs Life, they did Ants. If Pixar did this, if they did Finding Nemo, they did Sharks or whatever it's called, Shark Tale. If they did this, then they did this. And if they did this, and they did this. It's on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
And this speaks to resonating with an audience, okay? And me and my kid, I never went and saw DreamWorks movie, so I don't know why we were seeing, but I remember being a DreamWorks movie, and my kid was a little kid. He's probably 8 or 9 or so, I don't know. And I go, you know the difference between a Pixar movie and a DreamWorks movie? And he goes, what? And I go, it looks like they had a blast making the Pixar movie. Doesn't look like anybody had a blast making that DreamWorks movie. It just doesn't look like they had fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then years later, I did years later, I did a presentation at Pixar for Andrew Stanton, right? Yeah. It's a fun place, right? And I worked with a lot of guys in Pixar and all that. Bunch of fun people, fun place, super fun place, right? And then I also did a project over at DreamWorks for Shark Tale, right? I was doing a weird product with the movie or whatever. And it was going over there meeting with the director like every week, maybe, right? And I remember walking into DreamWorks and it was like, this place feels like a morgue. Like, I don't hear anybody laughing. It's quiet as hell. And like when you're working in those kind of environments, there tends to be a lot of Post-it notes that are like caricatures of each other, a lot of, silly drawings of, goofing on each other and all that kind of stuff. And it tends to just be all over the place. And like, I think I've talked about this before. Like I still do this. Like I'll draw some silly thing of somebody and it's insulting or whatever, and I tape it to their computer monitor so that we saw it in the morning and they, blah blah blah. And at DreamWorks they had, and this is what was weird. So I didn't hear anybody laughing. It was all very weird. And then they had this, and then I looked over and they had this case, like those case displays,
Yeah, like awards or whatever.
And there were characters, but they were all arranged and put in the case, and I'm like, this is not how you do this. You know what I mean?
It's funny you bring that up. Yeah, because I watched a documentary called Howard on Disney Plus recently. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's amazing because they talk about Jeffrey Katzenberg being like, this was during like the Disney Renaissance, and Howard is like this guy who made all the music.
Howard Ashman.
Yeah. And they talked about how like when Jeffrey Katzenberg was there, it was like money, and then. And it reminds me, like what you just said, he goes over to DreamWorks finally, and then that's all it is. It's nothing, there's no heart.
Yeah, Katzenberg was an asshole, but so was Eisner,
Yeah,
But
yes.
I'll say this about Eisner, I never saw him be an asshole. I saw him all the time, because he'd come in for meetings with us. And I never saw that part. I'm sure that part of him exists, but I actually saw Eisner do something really cool. I was in the research library, and there's a corner in there with like these rare books and stuff. And it's kind of a little corner. And it has like all the old L. Baum, the Wizard of Oz, the whole library of those and all, just a bunch of cool stuff. And I was sitting there doing research for something, and there was this woman in there who apparently had worked there forever. I forgot what she did. Huh? Did I cut out?
Oh, just like compilations of like photocopies.
No, she. So anyway, he came in there with nobody. With that one.
Hmm.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
And he had a little diorama it was in a glass, like a little glass cube with a base. And it was a really cool little caricatured sculpture of her. I think she was a sculptor. I can't remember. I think she was a sculptor. And it was her like doing like doing a sculpture and in her like little studio. It was fucking beautiful. All right. You don't look like something you buy at the Disney store, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And he came in, he goes, I just want to thank you for your service and I want to give you this. You know,
Oh,
no
that's
fanfare, no pictures, no nothing, just him being nice. You know what I mean? I thought that was cool. That was cool. You know, because you always hear what an asshole he was. I'm like, I never saw him being an asshole. I didn't think he was very creative or anything, but I never, you know, I saw him do that and I go, he doesn't get any credit for that. You know why? Because nobody ever saw it.
Yeah, it wasn't like all over the news.
And that's what's cool about it. He didn't do it for a photo op. He did it to be nice. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4, it's kind of like a little like whistle investment, but the gator's almost like anthropomorphic, where he's like talking and all the kids are like scared, and the kid's like trying to explain himself.
A little too complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, did I go through them all?
I think
I
you did. One.
Yeah, I did.
No, I think you're missing a 5th page on mine. Oh, I should have a 5th page I sent you.
I only have 4.
Really?
Yeah, just email it to me.
Yeah, that's fine. No worries.
I think this one's probably your contender here.
Yeah, that was actually one of my last ideas.
And maybe here, I'm not sure.
Because for that one, I was like thinking more about like the lighting on that one. It's like really warm in the center, but everybody like surrounding him.
The only thing I'll say about that, look, I understand we all want to, and I do want you thinking about that, okay? But I do want you getting excited about how you're going to illustrate it and all that kind of stuff. I totally want you doing that. But just make sure right now we have got to have a solid idea, okay?
Yeah.
Solid solution. And yes, let your brain go, man, this would be fun to paint. Totally do that, okay? But the job one is we have got to have a good idea, okay? Okay, so those are the 2 I would probably focus on.
Okay, that sounds good.
Oops. Okay, Grant, did you say I hadn't gone through yours?
Yeah, not yet.
So let's go this way. Okay. Teacher's freaking out?
Yeah, teacher walks in and freaks out pretty much.
She wouldn't be walking in the middle of this. She'd already be there, right?
Oh, I guess, yeah.
She's not going to like stumble in and go, oh, it's show and tell. I had no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's he doing here?
I was thinking that he was playing outside, but all the kids are scared and the teacher's like trying to block the alligator from the kids, and he's just like alone now.
Okay. What's happening here?
Pretty much. Sorry, I didn't load. I can't. Oh, this one, the teacher's looking outside the window and the kid just wants to play with his friends with the alligator, but everyone's scared, so they're all running away from him.
Is he dragging him backwards here?
He's dragging him backward.
Why is that?
Because he's getting in trouble, so he's bringing the crocodile or the alligator with him to get in trouble with him, but the alligator doesn't want to, so he's like trying to crawl away.
The cops are involved here?
I did that originally, but then it didn't make sense for me to do that, so I ended up deciding to make it like, it would make more sense if like his mom was in the car.
Yeah. The cops is getting a little severe, right?
Yeah.
There's something funny about it, but there's something funny about the teacher calling the cops, kind of. But you know, I think it's just going a little too crazy. Okay, so what's happening here?
So the teacher pretty much
All right.
fainted after seeing the crocodile coming in.
It's what?
To school. The teacher fainted after seeing the crocodile coming into school, and
The problem with that imagery is that it looks very much like a murder scene.
oh, okay.
You know, you always see the chalk outline.
see what you mean.
Yeah. Okay, what's happening here?
This one's just a normal presentation. And all the kids are in the front, look like trying to keep her distance from the alley.
I like the goofiness of the alligator. What's happening here? This is me right there. What's happening?
So this one is. I was thinking of this would be the. I thought this would be the school bus, and he's taking the alligator with him in the back of the bus with wrapped in a blanket, so not a lot of people could see, but the kid next to him saw what it was.
Too complicated. What's that?
Okay. So I thought this would be kind of like a Calvin and Hobbes style, where he brings like a stuffed animal, but like in his imagination, it would be like a huge giant alligator. But what we see is like
It's getting off story. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Like if they gotta hand you that for that to happen, or you know if you're writing it or whatever. Okay. Go through that one. Let's go this one. Are they looking through the window here? Where'd you go?
Yeah, they look. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now I can. You're popping out, in and out. Who's talking about a library in there? Anyway, I can't hear you. Go ahead again.
Number 9 is just like what you said. They're looking through a window, looking at the class, pretty much. And then I guess this one goes off a bit too, but I thought he would like be rehearsing the show and tell in his room, but with the stuffed animal, like
yeah, it's starting to
before.
It's starting to turn into a different story there. What's happening here? You there? I can hear you.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah. What's happening here in 11?
So 11 is he brought the alligator and he's just giving the kids rides and the teacher's freaking out pretty much is what I was thinking.
Now you can make that work, but you got to figure it out, right? Another thing, and I know these are thumbnails, you don't want to have like a little tiny figure and then this is fairly tiny. You know what I mean? You want to have size relationships, want to fill a page a little bit, you know. And I know it's a thumbnail. You can figure that out later. But just think about that, okay?
All right, for sure.
What's happening here? To eat them?
Or I guess this went off a little bit too. I was thinking like he would be inside like a costume pretty much pretending to be it, but that went off.
It's a different story.
Yeah.
What's he doing here? What's he in?
So I kind of messed up on that one, but it would be more like he's not in something. It's just he was like he was just drawn a little bit lightly, and then I messed up on the overall thing. But pretty much he just brings in the alligator to class, and the teacher's putting on her glasses to see what it really is, and one kid's like really interested, so walks up to him.
Bigger payoff. We need a bigger payoff, right?
All right. Yeah.
And here they're laughing at him. Is he bummed out?
Yeah, they're laughing.
Same. They're just running from him here, right?
Yeah, they're just running from him in this one.
What's happening here?
This one, I was thinking he would be on top of the jungle gym, and he's like showing off his alligator from up there, while the class is like looking at him from the bottom.
And what's happening here? He's eating something.
Yeah, they're at lunch, just eating together.
They're leaving here, right?
Or like my idea for that one was like when I was in kindergarten, we used to sit on like carpets with colors or numbers, like assigned seating. So I was thinking they would just be sitting in their assigned seat but the crocodile would be sitting next to him, or the alligator.
Gotta give me a payoff. What's happening here?
This one would be like just a similar situation where they're playing outside, and then he's just introducing him to all the.
Sort of that here.
Yeah, sort of that there too.
All right, give me a couple more. Crank out a couple more. Yeah.
All right.
And think about, you got to stay with that story, man. That's the hard part, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who else have I not looked at?
I haven't gone yet.
Taylor.
Haven't gone either.
Gone where?
You haven't checked my workout.
Oh, okay. Haven't gone where? Okay, who was it? Taylor?
Yeah.
God, that's weird. I thought I went through yours. Where are you?
Well, I think mine was more like at the bottom of the list, to be honest.
Wait, Taylor, where are you? I don't have your stuff in here. Wait a minute, maybe it's here. Oh, yeah, here you go. Oh, wait, didn't I call you earlier and you weren't there?
I don't think so.
I did somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was. All right. I don't know why I missed it. Okay, what's happening here? Oh, wait, let's go here. What's happening here? I'll try and burn through it.
So I went a little dark with it because I was just kind of like having fun with it, and I figured that out throughout the critique when you're talking about it. I was like, oh shit, I went dark too. So he's like biting.
Yeah, you don't want him biting her neck.
Biting her, and all the kids are like, at first I was like,
Yeah, that's a little severe. What's number 2?
this is so cool. Yeah.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is that one thing I talked about. That first time we were talking about the book, like with like little like foot flips and like excited about it, and yeah.
So he's presenting basically there, right?
Yeah, he's presenting. It's like a more of like a in front of the class thing instead of like the circle idea. Can you guys still hear me?
He's what? Oh, there you were. I like to put faces with names. Okay, so he's presenting. What's his third one?
Third one's the lunch table one, and he's like saying hi to the other kids, and like the kid that brought him is like looking at him like, you're so cool, and like the other kids are kind of just like, one's scared and one's kind of like nervous, but they have like the little like the, what's it called, the sticks and the rocks.
This one the teacher doesn't
Sorry,
like
my
it.
dog's like, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Isn't this one I just saw on the other page? That's weird. Yeah, right here. Right?
Yeah, okay, my bad. Yeah, that's the same picture.
Okay, what's happening here?
That one, everyone else's critiques, because I was thinking about like different things in class and like what people do in school. So I was thinking about like, okay, maybe they're in like science class and stuff like that.
I think there's something to that as an idea. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, I don't know, because it could be science class.
I didn't want
things into nature. That sounds sciencey. I don't know. I don't know if that's the solution, but I think there's something there. Okay.
Right.
What's happening? How come they're all birds?
I was thinking more of like a prey predator thing. So I don't know. I kind of scratched that whole idea out.
You'll be able to go nuts with that stuff a little more later. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna, once we get to like a personal graphic novel, all that kind of stuff, you can start telling kind of your own. Because I do want you guys to sort of tell your own stories at some point. Okay.
Right. Yeah. For me, it was hard to go off like the prompt, but I kind of see more like
That's okay. Can you guys hear me?
like looking at other people. Yeah, we can hear you. Or I can.
That's an important point, what you just said. It is tricky working off somebody's text, okay? But whatever you're going to do, if you want to do a creative thing, unless you're a gallery painter, you guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
It's always going to be usually some sort of parameter set for you, okay? And that you're going to have to work to. And it's one of the main reasons why I start with this exercise is because you have to, especially as an illustrator, you have to be able to come in and go, and look, and there's varying levels of what your creativity or your creative contribution to it is, okay? Usually, if you become a freelance illustrator and you have a certain style and everything, you get to a certain level of people like know who you are and all that, they're going to come to you for your thing. And they're going to come to you, and the art director might go, I got kind of an idea, and you're going to work with the art director and you're going to develop the idea, or you might come up with a whole different idea, or they might come to you 100% for the idea because they know you do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's always going to be, here's the problem, give us the solution.
Yeah.
You know, work to the problem. You know what I mean? And you have to learn to do that, okay? You just have to learn to do that. I think even if you go, because I've had students that go, well, I'm going to write my own graphic novels. And I'm like, I'm not saying you can't do that, but I'm going, okay, so you're just going to start from zero and just do your own graphic and do
Right.
what? And then they go, I'm going to self-publish them. And I go, great. Your mom and your friends will see it. That's cool. You'll probably sell 10 of them. Bitchin'. I don't know what the point of that is.
Exactly.
Okay. So like when I
Yeah.
wrote Cohen's book, I've told you guys that. I need to go get a publisher. I have to get a literary agent and all that stuff to get it done. Okay. I don't like that process, but I don't have a choice. That's the process. Okay. And I want a big publisher. I don't want a little publisher. I mean, you know, depends on who I end up with. But the reason I want a publisher is the publisher has muscle. They have marketing muscle. They have profile. They have all these things they can do. They'll probably go, you got to do a small book tour, and which will be horrible, but who cares, right? That's the guy, by the way, that the lonely guy you see when you walk into Barnes and Noble, sitting at the table with a picture of himself and a stack of his books, and nobody cares. That's a book tour. You know what I mean? And I always feel bad for that person. You know what I mean? Like, oh God, that's just, you know what I mean?
Like you almost want to have like a pity, like, hey, like, but
I don't talk to him because I don't want to, because what I'll do is I'll go, all right, just give me a book. Yeah. Sign it. I'm not going to ever read it. I don't care, but I just feel bad, you know? So I just ignore it. But maybe if it was a children's book person, I might, you know, go over and go, wow, it's a cool book, you know, because I love children's books. But anyway, that's a book tour, right? Now, there's the other side of that. We show up, and maybe there's 30 people there, and they love your book, or maybe there's 100 people there, and they love it. You know, who knows, you know? But the only thing I'm saying is that, you know, when you start getting out there, you can't get defeated. You know what I mean? Like if you manage to get a book published and you go on a tour and it's a little flat or whatever, then pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move forward, right? You can't get all, because I've seen people like that. They just completely fall apart. You know what I mean? I've had students where they fall apart and crit. Like, because I don't think I'm a mean critter, right?
No, you're not.
And I just go, hey, you need to change this, that, and the other. And she was in tears. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is not a person who was a child. This is somebody who was probably in her 30s. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I go, I crit based on constructive criticism. I'm not here to tear you up. I don't really see the point in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just
But
makes
anyway.
you better.
And then I go, look, if you think you're going to be an illustrator, and all I did was just go make some comments on the proportions or something, which I think it was, and you're going to fall to pieces. Forget being an illustrator. Do not do this. Do not be in the creative world. Forget it.
Yeah.
You are way too thin-skinned. And what I always say is get alligator skin. Okay? And I learned that at Art Center because you get the shit kicked out of you at Art Center. By the time you come out of there, you're like, oh, you got alligator skin, man. You're just like, okay, whatever, man. Throw it at me, you know? Doesn't feel good, but you can deal with it, you know? And by the way, I've had things happen when people said things to me that feel like you get kicked in the stomach. You know what I mean? And that didn't feel good. But you bounce back, right?
Right.
So here he's just playing with the kids, right?
Yeah. I gave him like dad shorts.
All right, give me a couple more. I want a couple more.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Okay. Like, you know, I think it's funny to go dark. I get all that, but we got to stay with the text. Okay?
Children. Yeah.
It's very important. It's going to be important in any class you go into. Okay.
Yeah.
Any sort of artistic class you go into, it'll help you if you work through these problems and you work through what I'm asking you to do. It will help you later. Because I think when you go into certain entertainment classes, I kind of go. This is the way I always looked at that. And I might have said this already. You've got so much to hide behind when you're dealing with entertainment properties. You can hide behind so much crap because you're just like, oh, you can fly. It's like those Marvel movies. I was looking at those Marvel movies and I go, you know what I hate about those movies? There's no consequences in them. I mean, yeah, they kill people or whatever, but then they go, okay, we just killed everybody, you know, all these characters. And then they go, oh, well, now they're back though because the time portal opened and the trans-dimensional dimension opened up, and now they're all back. And you're like, you know what? That is such candy-ass writing. Like, you can just write yourself out of any stupid situation then.
Crazy loophole. No
I hate that too.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
And they do it all the time, and they go, you know,
They're like, well, what are you gonna say? It's the loop, and you're like,
what's that square
that
thing
doesn't make any sense.
with in that movie? That square glowy thing?
The Tesseract?
Yeah.
Whatever.
You know, they number one, that's like, okay, whatever that thing is. But yeah, and then you know, this happens and they go, well, I think if we take this machine and we shoot a laser in it and it'll do it. It's like, okay. Like, you know, you can write anything in that world. It's like, I don't see that as writing. Do you know what I mean? There's no consequences. You can just keep creating these stupid solutions to everything where it just keeps going forever. And by the way, having said that, who cares what I think? Those movies make an ungodly amount of money. So clearly I'm wrong. I mean, clearly I'm wrong. Everybody else in the world loves them. Okay, I went through that one. Who else did I miss?
You missed me.
I haven't gone yet.
So who do I have left? I have, who's just said, okay. I thought oh, yours is empty.
Did I put it back in?
Are they on the drive?
Yeah, I went on.
Okay, hang on. All right, who else did I miss? I'm going to jump over. Who else did I miss?
I haven't gone yet.
Okay, Courtney. And by the way, before I get done here, I have to screen cap the room, okay? That's how I do my attendance. I want to try and burn through the last of these now because next week I want to move on to some other stuff. Okay. I'm sorry. Who was the one I just others? Here it is. I thought I went through all these already. All right, Courtney, where are you?
I'm right here.
Okay. What are they doing here?
So this is just the teacher announcing show and tell day, and this.
How does that relate to? Is this sequential?
Yeah, I'm the one who emailed you on Monday. I don't know if you remember.
No.
I misunderstood what you meant by numbering them. I thought that meant that each page was sequential. So I apologize.
You're gonna have to crank out a couple more because these are just sequential.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So just do that. Stick to my text or their text, whoever wrote that thing, which I have no idea who that is, and just crank out a couple more based strictly on the text.
Okay.
Okay. The thumbnails look good and readable, but I got to have that. Who else did I miss?
I also have not gone.
I still haven't gone either.
Wow. Okay, hang on. I want to write this down. Okay, so I have 2. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Do I have Danielle? Do I have yours?
Yeah, I sent mine in
Oh, here they
as
are.
JPEGs. Yeah.
I have this weird problem. I don't know if everybody has this. When I'm looking at those, I don't see it. I don't know why. Okay, school bus. He's huge. What do the kids think?
I was kind of going for like the people in the front don't really notice, but the people in the back, I don't know.
I think in some ways you could do where it's just the sight gag and that kind of thing. I think you could do that, that it doesn't always have to be a huge about a reaction all the time, I don't think. What's this one here? Oh, that's show and tell, right?
Yeah, so I was kind of doing it from like the kids' imagination viewpoint to where it's like a big show. And
Well,
like there's
I mean,
a spotlight.
it could be the idea of a big show, but it's in the classroom and the kids are.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So you could. I don't want to make the leap to total fantasy stuff, what she's thinking, because it's a different story. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's happening here?
I made him look like a dinosaur. But he's meeting the other classmates. Like they're kind of shy, but. And then a lot of people did the same thing, but it's like.
Go ahead. Damn it.
Everyone is holding the
He's what?
with a backpack or with pack.
This one here? You're cutting in and out.
He's small. Sorry.
Okay. Say something again because you were cutting in and out.
Saying something.
Here, right here. Well, okay, so what's this one again? This last one?
They're just in line to go into class for show and tell, and yeah.
And this one, I like this drawing right here. Okay, waiting in line, class to start.
Yeah, that was kind of the other one.
I probably, like, if I have this, I just want one element that tells me why he shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know he shouldn't be there, obviously, but there's got to be another level of why he shouldn't be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. I like this drawing though. Okay, so girl hugging an alligator from behind. Are the kids flipping out on him here too?
Yeah, they're like, whoa.
And what's happening? What's happening here?
Oh, that was just a failed thing.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean to include that. Yeah.
It's all right. They're in class, or no? They're eating, right? So what's happening here?
I was gonna make it to where it's like everyone's too scared to eat with them.
You could
so
do
they're all
that.
kinda...
You could do that. I like that drawing of the girl, by the way. I mean, because that starts to play on the whole school thing anyway, that imagery of the dork at this table. Now the kids want to sit with him. It's kind of like that kind of thing. Right?
Yeah. And I wanted him to wear like a business suit in this. Like he's preparing.
Why is that? Why a business suit? Because he's dressed up for the occasion?
Because he's being like shown off, so he wants to be professional.
I like that. I might do something with the tie if I was going to do that.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's going onto the table, maybe it's real long for some reason, whatever, right? What's he doing here?
Just waiting for the bus, and he's holding a lunchbox. And he's like riding on his shoulder.
What's happening here? I like these drawings. How long you been there? Or what's your major?
It's my first year, and I'm doing the illustration certificate.
Where did you learn how to draw loose like that?
I kind of learned. I don't think you were. You interviewed me like.
This is the
last
same
year
Danielle Mike
at
you thought was me. This is Goose Illustrations.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Whenever
Your Goose Illustrations?
But you thought I was Danielle. Now Danielle's here.
Wait, who's Goose?
That's me.
That's you, right?
That's
Danielle.
Yeah, I'm Danielle. Danielle is Goose Illustrations.
Ah. You did all that gouache stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's on. Okay. I love the drawings. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. All right. What's she doing here?
Which one? That one. Well, I kind of wanted her to just like not hold him properly because she's like a kid.
By the way, everybody go to her
Oh no.
Instagram. Okay. There's
I
some.
mean-
You like gouache? There's some bitchin' gouache stuff on there. Okay, so what? I'll say this again now. What's happening here?
I wanted that to be like a closer shot.
Is she just
so-
the awkwardness of it, her presenting and all that?
Yeah, and the alligator's just kind of over it.
I kind of like that. I mean, I like that. Sometimes, look, we're talking real heavily about story here and everything, and it's kid. There's also a certain amount of kids' book illustration that, as long as it serves that what you need it to do or whatever, it can be all about the visual. That it's a really fun visual. It has to tie to the story, obviously, but sometimes it's about a really fun visual, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of a fun visual. What's happening here?
I don't really like that one. It was just like the concept didn't really go well.
What's this one?
That was another like lunchtime thing, and I wanted them to be like your eyes drawn directly to them.
I like
so
that.
I kind of did like a.
But nobody's eating with them, right?
Yeah, no one's eating with them.
I think if you're going to do it, though, do you have a lot of kids at every table?
Yeah.
Okay, so I like that. So yeah, I like that. And I like the big room, and there's a lot of kids at every table, and just these two stark characters sitting together, right?
Yeah.
And I also like that they look happy, like they're totally fine being with each other. They don't care that everybody's ignoring them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that. I just love that pullback of all that, a big room, a bunch of characters, and then these two like really standing out, right? Yeah? Where'd you go?
Yeah.
I think that's your winner. Yeah? What do you think?
Yeah.
You cool with doing that one?
Yeah, I'm cool with doing any of them.
Oh, okay. I like that answer. I like that one. I think you should do that one.
Okay.
So start, a little bit of refinement on it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And I have Ruiz. Where are you at? Hang on. Okay, where is this? Okay, wait a minute. Who is Ruiz? Where are you at?
Right here.
Denise. I don't have a folder for you. Unless I'm missing it.
Remember I
Say it again. Oh no.
dragged it and you
Say it again.
that I had trouble with it and you like dragged it and helped me I guess do it or something.
It was on the drive? Was it on the drive?
Yeah, I put it on the thing, but I had trouble with it. But when you wrote back to me, you said you were actually able to do it.
Oh, okay. Hang on a minute. Let me do a search and see if I have it on my computer somewhere. I found your email.
Because I was the one that put it on Canvas first.
Oh.
And then after that, I had to do the thing, and I told you I don't know if I did it right.
Okay, I don't think you did because I don't have it. Okay. What you just reload it. I'll look at them and I'll send you an email. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I only have you and Leticia. Is it Leticia? Is that what you said? I'm sorry, I forgot.
It's Leticia.
Leticia. You got to remember that. Let me check real quick. If this will download real quick, I can do it. But I've been having like weird problems with okay. Oh, here you go. Let me see if it'll download. For some reason, I'm having to download everything from Google individually and on Safari. It's not working in Chrome. It's weird.
Should I just email this to you then?
I'm seeing if it's. Yeah, I'm trying to download it right now. Just give me a sec. If it only takes a few seconds, then I can go through it. It's not that big. It's only 4 bags. They're sideways.
Oh no. My.
And by the way, you guys on your phone, you can do this. You can rotate them. Okay. All right, let's go through these real quick. Okay, so what's happening here?
I was trying to do like the girl's just walking out, and then on the next side, it's like a side shot of her. And
Okay, is this going sequential again?
yeah, I kind of made it go sequential.
Okay, we don't want sequential. We've got to just illustrate that one text, correct?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So let's go. Yeah, it looks like it's very sequential.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go back and give me a couple that are just based on the text and nothing else. Is that good?
Okay.
Okay, because what I want to do here, you guys, and whoever I missed, I don't remember who it was, send those to me on email. What is this doing? Hang on. Okay. What I want to do is I want to wrap up this story part of it. So I want to have everything ready to go on the end wheel. We're off on Monday. I might do a quick meeting tomorrow, but anyway. Because I want to be able to start moving into starting to actually design these things, okay, and starting to go towards refinement and then sort of final drawing, and then I can get into transferring all that stuff. Does that make sense? Did I already give you guys a watercolor wash demo?
No, you haven't yet.
Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to put a video up. And all it is basic watercolor washes, okay? Here's the thing I always say about watercolor. It's really just about, I don't know, 5 to 7 washes, okay? It's not that technique heavy. It's more just knowing, and I'll do, okay, so the video I'm gonna give you is just totally basic washes, okay? And then I'll do, probably in class, I'll do, how do I use those? Because then it becomes about how do I use these, okay? So when do I use a wet and a wet? When do I use, and watercolor will do a lot of the work for you, to be honest, okay? I'm also gonna put up, and I know I keep saying this, I'm gonna put up my inking one from Fundamentals of Cartooning, and I will put the timestamp on it where it starts talking about color, okay? So So if you want to just avoid the first part of it about inking or whatever, or if you like inking, that's cool too. But I'll tell you where time stamps into color, because it relates to this class completely, right? Because I'm using watercolor and then a little gouache and a little tiny bit of pencil and things like that. Okay? Yes?
Are you putting this all on Canvas, or did you make a class blog?
I have a class blog, but I use it for different things. Everything goes up on Canvas.
Right. Okay. I have some questions about Canvas afterwards, but I think I'll wait until after the critique. Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just for me. The class isn't coming up on my Canvas, and I'm not sure
Well,
why.
I saw that.
Figured
You need to call. I think it's admissions and records, and go. Why am I not on the class?
Okay.
Did you win?
I want to start talking about the refining part process. So what I'm basically expecting you guys to do, wherever I've told you you're at, if we've said, okay, this idea looks pretty good, start developing it, start really nailing it down, just start nailing it down. Because I want to start going over drawing ideas and stuff like that next week. So then we can start going, let's refine this drawing, and we can start talking about that. And then I'll show you a couple, well, one of them's simple, but I'll show you another transfer technique I like to use for this. And I'll probably do another demo, kind of showing you what I do with the washes. The one I'm going to give you is just basic washes, and then I'm going to show you kind of what I do with them. What else? Okay, so next week I want to start getting into that. Does that make sense? So, like, you're probably gonna have to show me some stuff and everything, but I'm gonna start working into a little more about technique from here on out, okay? Until we get to something else, and then I'll, and this process will be a lot faster when we get to something else, because some creepy guy is coming into your screen, Laura. There's some creepy guy behind you. I just want to let you know. I don't know where he came. He probably came in through that window behind you. It's open. I can see it's open. Anyway. Anyway, that's what I want to start doing next week, okay? So we'll be a little bit hopefully out of, this part of it, and we'll start moving into actually painting, okay? Make sure, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned, go ahead.
No, I just said sounds good.
Oh, okay. You should call the police, by the way, Laura.
That is my boyfriend. If there's someone else in frame, I should be alarmed. And that's probably the cat moving the curtain.
Oh, I thought it was the wind. Maybe I am.
No, we're good.
Okay. And I think that's it, okay? I'll put that up. I might start putting up some illustrators and things. Laura, sometimes I use the blog for, if I want to talk about something a little more in depth and things like that. But even if I do a blog post, it will be on Canvas and it'll link to the blog post. Okay?
So should we just have watercolor, or are you wanting us to have gouache too?
You could do this whole project with no gouache. The only thing I'm saying you might want to try, and I'll show you, and you can make up your mind on it. You might want to get a tube of white gouache just to mix with your watercolor.
Okay.
But it's not a necessity. I mean, you can save your whites and all that kind of stuff and do a pure watercolor technique if you want. But it's nice to have the gouache. I like to have that freedom, especially if I'm improvising. Like when I did the inking demo, I was improvising that whole thing. So it's just nice to have the gouache so I can go back and catch some lights and things like that without having to save all my whites. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally
And I'll probably show some things that I don't expect you to get. Like I might show you some liquid frisket. I might show you some, stuff like that. I'm not saying go out and get that. I'm just showing it to you so you go, oh, okay, that's another option. What I'm trying not to do is have you guys go, art supplies are expensive, I get it.
Yeah. I just ordered my watercolors.
We won't get to that until at least the week after, so that's fine.
Sure, how long
Yeah,
will it
get the
take
drawing
to
done.
So we wanted to do it in. Sorry, go ahead.
The main thing we have to learn when we go through this now is how you refine a drawing and how you get a drawing finished and ready for paint. And I know that sounds obvious. It's not. Okay? It's not. Because what's going to happen, usually some of you, everybody's at varying levels and stuff. But a lot of times you get in there, you go, okay, man, this thing looks good. And then you start painting, you go, oh my God, there's just so much stuff I didn't really work out here, you know? And like I said, it's, well, the reason I start with watercolor is watercolor, and I don't think watercolor is unforgiving the way everybody says. I also don't think, you know, because I always hear people and they go, well, you can go and scrub it back out after it's dry. And I go, you clearly have never used watercolor. I mean, that doesn't work that great. And I know sometimes you can, but it just doesn't. But you start abrading the surface. Once you start breaking it and roughing up the surface like that, a watercolor, you've now broken the size on it. Now it's going to be totally absorbent. You're going to have weird patches of dark color in it. It just doesn't, anyway. But there's other ways to do that, and you just, which is totally obvious. You lift it out. Put a color down, you don't like it. I always keep a rag in this hand, and I lift it out immediately. And it pretty much comes out almost all of it. And I want a little bit of modulation of color, so I don't care if there's a little tiny bit of color in there. I can deal with that. Because I want a lot of modulation of color. I want a lot of modulation of value, and I want just a lot of interesting shapes and things in the paint. Does that make sense? Okay. And then once we go through all that, obviously after this class, you can, you know, you might want to go, I want to do a real flat watercolor style. I don't want to render it out, or whatever you want, okay? But I want to go through those techniques with you. And usually, a lot of times I like to teach water, and this isn't, we're not teaching watercolor, we're learning watercolor illustration, we're learning this medium. I think you can learn a lot about this medium very quickly, okay? It's another reason I like watercolor, is you can learn a ton about it really fast, okay? And I think at its core, it's not that difficult. I mean, I'm not saying it's not difficult to use, but the techniques, there's not 10 billion techniques with it the way there is with oil and all that kind of stuff, okay? Okay, so we're gonna start refining. So let's start thinking that way. And you guys who are still throwing out a few more sketches, that's cool. And if you sort of know what you're doing, then let's start working towards, I don't wanna finish drawing, by the way, on Wednesday. I'm not saying that. I wanna start refining. I wanna start going, okay, let's nail down the composition. Let's nail down the big elements. Let's get the scene set up. I don't want you to go, okay, I started finishing the drawing. You're like, okay, that composition sucks. I don't want to do that, okay? I want to make sure that we're working through this and once all the elements are placed and the composition is set up, then we can start going to finish, okay? Yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, guys, I'm out. Watch.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Mike.
I might do a meeting. Again, you don't have to. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be there if you start a meeting. I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Okay, thank you.
See you tomorrow. Bye.